Okay, ready to go.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the first afternoon meeting of 2025 for Committee of Adjustment, Etobicoke. Just wanted to introduce myself. I'm Stan Kumoric. I'll be your chair today. My fellow panel members, Nadia Popovic on my left, Laura Alderson also on my left, Donald Taylor on my right, and Bill Dalton also on my right. Also Barb Bartosik, our Deputy Secretary Treasurer at the far end on the right side, my left side, and Barb's staff in the front. Good afternoon. In accordance with sections 45 and 53 of the Planning Act 1990 as amended, this meeting of the Committee of Adjustment of the City of Toronto is called to order. The Committee of Adjustment considers applications for variances from the provisions of the zoning that apply to property, permissions to extend or alter lawful nonconforming uses, and to consent to sever properties to create new lots. Our land acknowledgement, we acknowledge the land we are meeting on is a traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. Our procedure for this afternoon, Committee of Adjustment public hearings are now conducted in a hybrid and in-person virtual format. Some applicants and participants will make their submissions in person, while others will participate virtually by electronic means through WebEx. The meetings are also streamed on the Toronto City YouTube channel, and anyone wishing to view the hearing may do so on YouTube. Those who want to participate virtually and have registered in advance will be connecting with their computer, tablet, smartphone, or telephone and have the option of participating via video or audio only. All virtual participants will automatically be muted on entry. When your item is called, you will be unmuted by the moderator, one person at a time. Those participating by video appearance will be temporarily upgraded to panelist. When your item is being held during this time, your camera will be enabled. You will only be visible during your 5-minute allotted speaking time. All other times, your video will be disabled and you will be reinstated as an attendee. For both in-person and virtual participants, Committee of Adjustment staff will share presentations submitted in accordance with the written submission deadline. Those participating through WebEx are not allowed to use share screen or any other panelist controls during the video appearance. Decisions of the Committee of Adjustment. People attending in person today who want to receive a copy of the decision on an application must fill out a decision request card, and those participating virtually need to submit a written request for a decision by email. Please ensure that you include your name, email address, as the Committee of Adjustment and the Toronto Local Appeal Body will be sending notifications and appeal updates by email. If you do not agree with the decision of the Committee of Adjustment, you may be able to appeal the decision to the Toronto Local Appeal Body, or in some limited circumstances to the Ontario Land Tribunal. However, the provincial government has amended the Planning Act and generally removed rights of third parties to in advance of the hearing. Staff and committee members cannot accept materials at the hearing today. When addressing the committee, please clearly state your name and address. Please remember to confine your remarks to the matters outlined in the application. The applicant or agent will proceed first and will make a presentation to the committee on the application. Please note that the committee may not entertain revisions to the proposal at the hearing today, as I mentioned earlier. The committee may decide to defer the application if it is substantially revised to ensure the revised application is accurate and that all those entitled to notice of the application are informed of the changes. Then individuals either in support or opposition to the application will be invited to speak. Generally, we first call on speakers in the hearing room first, and then those participating online. Committee members may ask questions of each speaker after they have finished their presentation. When all speakers are finished, the applicant or agent has the opportunity to rebut, but only those issues that were raised by the previous speakers. This will mark the end of the discussion. The application will then be taken into committee for a decision. Before we proceed, are there any declarations of interest or conflict of interest for panel members or staff on any of the afternoon items?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Yep.
Mr. Dalton?
I have one with item 27.
27, okay.
Yep.
We will ask you to leave at that time.
Yes, thank you.
I don't believe there are any closed files. I believe we do have some deferral requests. So if we could deal with the deferrals first. The first item where there is, I believe, a notice issue is item 20, A, B, and C. And the agent is online or in?
Yes, the agent. I will connect them now.
Okay.
Oh, hi. Yeah, I'm
Hi,
Shu,
good
the
afternoon.
agent for the application. Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Sorry, can I
Mr.
just
Chair
get
and the
your
committee
name
members.
and address first?
Yeah, my name is Shen Shuzhang Architects. Location is 98 Scarsdale Road, North York.
Okay, thank you. And
So
go ahead.
I'm representing the owner of the property at the 9 Garden Place. We like to request for a deferral because the sign for the consent application was posted on Monday, 6th January, which is shorter than required
Shorter than
14
the
days
required
prior
posting
to the
time.
hearing.
Okay, thank you. I
You're
believe
welcome.
we had other speakers for this item. Andy Choles and then Randy McWaters.
Yes, so we have Andy on. I will connect them right now.
Andy, I'm assuming you're going to have no issue with the deferral. I believe you were requesting for it to be deferred as well.
Yes, I agree. Should be deferred.
Thank you. Randy, are you there as well?
So we don't have Randy on. Right
Oh, he's
now.
in person, that's why.
Person. Perfect.
It should be deferred because there's no notification to any of my neighbors. I have a history of.
Sorry, can you
Okay.
turn on the mic and state your name and address?
Hello? Yes.
Hi, sorry, I could hear you, so it didn't bother
Okay,
me.
okay, because I'm speaking loud enough, yes. Okay, my name is Randy McWaters. I live at 1 Garden Place.
Okay, so you have no issue with us deferring this. In fact, you would prefer that
Not
to
a
be done.
single bit, at least as
Perfect.
long as you defer or to let everybody in my
To
neighborhood
get proper
know.
notice, absolutely. So everybody's on the same page.
It's
That's
only
all I
the
want.
fair thing to do.
Okay,
Okay, but just to clarify, it's not being deferred because the notice was given through the newspaper.
it's because the
That's
posted
what-
notice was insufficient time.
That's the reason for the deferral.
It's unfair and unjust to have it run that way.
I know, but the committee's not dealing with that part of things. That was dealt with under the Planning Act, a decision made by management.
Yeah.
But the sign wasn't posted, so everyone, I just want to make sure, because otherwise this whole hearing wouldn't be happening.
I do not get the Toronto Star, I'm sorry.
Okay.
You know, so I was not informed, other than the neighbor.
Well, the mail disruption's done, so going forward, notices will go out through the mail, and we're assuming everyone will get them
So
on
it'll be
time.
deferred until notices have been gone out, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you very much.
We're coming at it from two different perspectives, but coming to the same place.
Yep. very good.
Okay,
Okay, thank you very
Thanks.
much.
Committee members?
Is there anyone else in the room here for 9 Garden Place? No.
No? Okay,
So with that, I'll move a motion to defer this item so they can do adequate notice for next time. Thank you.
I'll second that.
Thank you,
Mr.
Bill.
I'll second that, Mr. Chair.
thank you, Don. All in favor? Item is deferred. Okay, I believe we have at least one other one.
Item 32.
32, 1 Orchard Crescent. No. 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 That's item
So the
35.
agent isn't here for that one, but I think there is someone who's a neighbor.
Yeah, Ingrid. Also online. I think both were online.
So, Mr. Chairman, I was emailed. They were saying since it was deferred, they're not going to be attending. The agent's not going to be attending the meeting since
What about the neighbor, area resident?
the area resident. I don't see them online. They were registered for a virtual meeting, but again, I guess they were told it was deferred, so they're not attending as well.
Okay. Anyone else wanting to?
No.
No. Okay. Well, I don't think you got a lot of choice there. Looking for a motion.
Sure, I'll move a motion to defer the item.
Thank you, Bill.
I will second that motion.
Thank you, Natalia. All in favor? Okay, that item is also deferred. And I believe there was just those two for the afternoon session. Okay, so we can go back to the top of the agenda, which is item 17, but I need to find my page. Yeah. Page 5. I need my page 6. No. 17. Oh, sorry. Okay, here it is. Okay, so item 17 is 74 Metavail Drive. This is an application to construct a new detached dwelling with an attached garage. There are 5 variances being requested, 2 of which have been revised. Planning is requesting a condition of approval in the event that we approve. Forestry is requesting conditions 2 and 3. There are 2 letters of objection. And I see Mr. Milne Price at the microphone. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, fellow committee members. My name is Addison Milne Price. I'm a planner at Design Plan Services located at 87 Skyway Ave, here on behalf of the owner.
I think we're going to need a full presentation.
Absolutely. I'll just start with some brief background and history of the application. So as mentioned, this is an application to facilitate a new 2-story single attached dwelling, and it's replacing the existing dwelling on the property. This application was one of the ones originally scheduled for early December, but was moved because of the Canada Post strike.
This whole meeting is.
Right. Okay. Makes sense. So we're one of those. We're no different. It turned out to be quite a fortunate delay because we took the time to speak with planning staff, to speak with some of the neighbors, and also to speak with a zoning examiner who mentioned that they overlooked one of the variances. And so that is the result of the overall height variance that is now in front of you. Just to explain that we didn't increase the overall height to trigger that new variance. That variance was always part of the plans. And in fact, we lowered the height upon being informed of that variance. As a result of our changes, planning staff is no longer directly in objection to our application. I have some comments on their staff report, but I just want to point out that I have no issue with their condition or the conditions recommended by Urban Forestry staff. Now, just in terms of the variances themselves, variance 1 for lot coverage is an additional 2% above what is permitted as of right, which translates to about 7.3 square meters, which is about 80 square feet, and is also in keeping with the lot coverage variances found throughout the neighborhood. Now, variance 2, floor space index, is proposed at 0.69 meters, where 0.45 is permitted as of right. However, this proposed FSI will result in a 2-story dwelling that's in keeping with the existing physical character in the neighborhood. I just want to point out that this subject property, it's in a unique location, sort of right at the end of a small cul-de-sac, with only 6 other dwellings on that little cul-de-sac. The planning staff report mentioned that there are no decisions for an FSI greater than 0.68 on Metavail Drive and Thompson Ave. And while this is true in some respects, this statement overlooks some of the decisions on other very close streets that do feature an FSI of 0.69. This is all within 100 to 200 meters of the proposal and includes decisions such as 62 Brentwood Road South at 0.69, 33 Brentwood Road South at 0.69, and 925 Rural York Road at 0.7. Also, just keep in mind that there are many decisions for FSI within this neighborhood that range from 0.68 to 0.6, which, while slightly smaller numerically than the proposal, would not be perceived as significantly different from the street. And lastly, I just want to point out as well that this dwelling will be smaller than one of the other buildings in this shared cul-de-sac, 75 Metavail Drive, which is the house across the street. It was recently approved for a GFA of 343 square meters, which is larger than the GFA that we're proposing here. So overall, this FSI will result in a building that meets and is consistent with that neighborhood character that exists. Now, with respect to variance 3, it pertains to a front yard setback. This variance, it's largely a technical variance that arises out of an existing condition on the street. And I say it's a technical variance because the proposed front wall is essentially in the same location as the existing front wall. And you can see that if you take a look at the site plan, the outline of the survey is there on the site plan, and you can see that the front main walls are essentially in the same general location as what we are proposing. And just in regard to the other 6 houses in this little cul-de-sac, 2 of those houses are actually corner lots that have Thompson Ave addresses. And as a result, the averaging of the 2 adjacent front yard setbacks to come up with the front yard setback requirement is only taken from 76 Metavail Drive. It doesn't include the neighbor at 54 Thompson Ave, which is significantly closer to Metavail Drive than what the proposal is. Now, just to discuss the variances for height, variance 4 pertains to the overall permitted height, and we're proposing a height of 9.08 meters. This represents an increase of just under 2 feet from what's permitted as of right, and this additional height, it's clearly shown on all of these elevation drawings. You can see it quite clearly on the south elevation, however, as we've indicated the maximal allowable roof height of 8.5 meters in a dashed line. And you can see that this additional massing above the dashed line, it's going to be nearly imperceptible compared to a building constructed as of right. Now, the 5th and final variance pertains to the side main wall height. The proposed side main wall height, it's not a major difference from the permission in the bylaw, and the proposed building will feature modest 9 feet ceilings on the ground floor.
Just get you to wrap up, please.
Absolutely, and 8 feet ceilings on the second floor, and overall is consistent with the heights found in the neighborhood. That concludes my presentation, but I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you. Any questions from panel members? No. Is there anyone else here to speak to this item or online?
No, we just have.
We do have 2 letters of opposition. If you want to ask a question related to those issues, to those
I believe one of the letters was from 60 Thompson, which, sorry, I don't have my microphone on. I believe one of those letters was from 60 Thompson, which is, for all intents and purposes, on Metavail Drive, and it's a similar house that has been restored to its former splendor. Was there any discussion, did the owners ever think that they might just renovate this lovely old Humberstone house? Was there ever any discussion about that?
So through you, Mr. Chair, I think the intent from the owners was always to redevelop the house and to construct a new one. Yeah.
It's unfortunate. Anyway, that's my only comment.
Okay. Okay, thank you, sir. We're going to take it into committee. Any discussion or someone ready for a motion?
If there's no comment, I will move a motion. I think the applicant made good use of their time during the strike because they went from a refusal in November to a recommendation in January from city planning, and I concur with the changes. So on that basis, I'd move a motion for approval, as I believe the application meets the 4 tests subject to the planning and forestry conditions.
Thank you, Mr. Dalton. Is there a seconder?
I'll second that motion, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Don. All in favor? Opposed? Okay, that carries on a 4 to 1. The application is approved. Okay, our next item, item 18, 454 Valero Drive, Part 1, and 223 Hallmark Avenue. This is an application to construct a second-story west side platform. There are two variances being requested. Forestry has provided a clearance letter. There are no comments from any other city departments. And Sean, welcome.
Yes, I'm
Welcome back.
Thank you.
I don't think we need a full presentation, maybe just a bit of an overview.
Sure. So just for the record, Sean McGaffey, WND Associates, 47 Roselawn Avenue. So this application was initially approved by the Committee of Adjustment in 2022. It was a severance application that converted the one-story bungalow into a two-story semi-detached with secondary suites. It went through the zoning review process, and they started construction. The owner then went through the building permit process, and as part of that permit process, buildings flagged the need for, under building code, to do a platform coming out of the front door before you hit the stairs. They marked up the plans. He went and proceeded to construct that platform with the stairs. And then now it's come up on the final inspection that that direction actually doesn't conform with zoning, just given that that platform has now pushed the stairs to the lot line. So that's really why we're here today. Happy to answer any questions.
Kind of a minor adjustment.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions? No? Okay, we're good. There's no one else on this item, I'm assuming?
No.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. We'll take it into committee.
I believe this application is very straightforward. It just happens. With that, I believe it meets the 4 tests and move a motion for approval.
Seconder.
Second the motion, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Don. All in favor? Unanimous approval. Okay, our next item, number 19, 8 Aikenhead Road. This is an application to construct a second-story addition above the existing dwelling, a new attached garage, a front yard porch, and a deck in the rear yard. There is one variance being requested, which is FSI, and Forestry is requesting condition 1 as a condition of approval. And we have Andrea Chi as the agent online, I'm assuming. Ms. Chi?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and members of the committee.
Oh.
My name is Hadrien Chi.
Adrian, sorry, my mistake.
No worries. My name is Hadrien Chi from SGL Planning and Design. We are located at 1547 Bloor Street West, and I'm the agent for this file.
Thank you, sir. I don't think we need a full presentation here. Just if there's anything you want to touch on, and then we'll ask questions.
Sure. If we can pull up the planning opinion letter. Oh, sorry. I actually have no information to add.
Okay.
I'd just like to reiterate that we have reviewed the Urban Forestry Report dated January 9th, 2025, and have no concerns with condition 1 as proposed. And in addition, we've received signatures of support, including from those living directly adjacent to the north and the south related to the proposed variance. And I'm available for any questions.
Okay. Have you submitted those signatures? Yeah. Okay.
Yes, we have it.
Did I miss it? Okay, sorry. Thank you. Okay. Committee members, any comments? No? Please.
I have to ask my colleague's permission. He loves making motions. The motion man. Yeah, I'm satisfied this application meets the 4 tests. There's only one variance. It's very minor in my opinion, both in numerical and impact, from numerical and impact perspectives. I move approval subject to Urban Forestry 1, condition 1.
Seconder?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Bill. All in favor? Okay, unanimous approval. Thank you, Mr. Chi.
You can do the next one.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the committee.
Oh, it's a consent.
Okay. Item 20 has been deferred, so we're on to item 21, which is 251 and 255 Atwell Drive. This is an application to obtain consent to sever the lot into 2 lots, including 4 related easements. And are there any variances that come out of that? And this will result in 4 variances that are also being requested. Welcome. Anna? Okay.
Good afternoon, Chair and members of the committee. My name is Anna Liu, and I represent KS 251-255 Atwell Drive, Inc. for the consent and minor variance applications. My address is 181 Bay Street, Suite 1800, Toronto. Should I make some brief submissions?
Yeah, I just wanted, maybe if we can pull up the R plan and you can explain the different parts and why there's 5 parts to it and how that interfaces with the not the variances, the
consent.
Sorry, easements. Because I'm assuming that's why you've got 5 parts.
No, that's not my understanding,
Okay,
but I'm
so
happy
then-
to pull up the presentation, make my submissions. I think we have a PowerPoint slide, so if we could go and go to slide 3, I think that would address the chair's questions. Thank you. So I'll just provide a brief overview and then we can move into any questions. So in brief,
mixed it up with another application. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, okay. I was a bit confused about that. Shall I still move into my submissions?
Yeah, just give us a brief.
Okay. So in brief, our consent application proposes to sever the site so that the existing building at 255 Atwell will be retained and placed on its own lot, while 251 Atwell will become a vacant lot. If you don't mind moving to the second slide, there's a color-coded map that helps illustrate. The existing portion of the building at 251 Atwell will be demolished, and no easements for access or servicing are required for the severance, and each proposed lot has its own driveway access to the public street. We also note that the severance will maintain the lot pattern for the area, and the variances only seek to legalize the existing condition and building at 255 Atwell. We have read the staff report and have no concerns with the recommended conditions, and we also thank committee and staff for your efforts and work putting into reviewing these applications. If the committee would like, I can go into further particulars of the consent or minor variances.
Any questions? No? Okay. Is there anyone else here to speak on this item?
No, there is not.
Okay, thank you. We'll take it into committee then. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, do we have, oops.
No? Any comments from my colleagues? Mr.
No?
Chair?
Yeah, I'm just trying to find the conditions. 21. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I just forgot to make those notes. I don't know why I missed this one. Yeah, there they are. Okay. All right. So if anyone's ready for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I will draft a motion subject to my colleagues that the motion to approve the consent and that the minor variances meet the 4 tests. There are, I note, support, or at least planning has indicated that the variances are consistent with the Planning Act and that there are otherwise no objections, so that the approval would be subject to the conditions only that were in the report.
Okay, so the ECS and transportation conditions.
Yes.
And is there a seconder?
I'll second that.
Thanks, Bill. All in favor? Okay, unanimous approval. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, item 22, 7 Hinton Road. This is an application to construct a new 2-story addition that includes an attached first-floor garage and a new porch. This application was originally deferred from June the 8th of 2023. There are 5 variances being requested. Forestry is requesting a refusal, or in the alternative, condition 1. And planning has indicated they are okay. Number 22. And the agent is online, and we also have a area resident online.
Yes, they are both online. I will connect with the agent right now.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon. Could I get your name and address, please?
My name is Enrique Valencia of Valencia Enterprises, Inc. We're located at 9040 Leslie Street in Richmond Hill.
Thank you. And if you can do a presentation for us.
Absolutely. So again, good afternoon, Chair and members of the committee. Again, my name is Enrique Valencia. I'm the agent for the property owner of 7 Hinton Road. The purpose of our application is to approve the variances for a rear yard addition of a single-family dwelling. The variances are as follows: proposed building length of 20.4 meters versus 17, proposed building depth of 22.28 versus 19, proposed FSI of 0.64 times the area opposed to 0.45 times. The proposed area of the front porch, 8 meters versus 4 meters, and the proposed rear yard setback of 6.37 meters compared to 9.14 meters. For context, since the last time we were here to defer the application, the intent was to deal with the remaining objections from community planning, urban forestry, and the adjacent neighbor. We have done our due diligence and have spoken and reached out to all parties and now feel comfortable bringing it to a committee. So thus far, community planning's concerns were addressed and discussed with their team. If the application is to be approved, it would be approved with no conditions on their end. Their request of a reduction in size was to adhere to my client, and it will always be in the best interest to agree with planning staff rather than to object with their recommendations. Urban forestry is still being dealt with. We have opened an application to remove the 2 trees, and basically we're at a standstill with them. They said, come back to committee, get the variances approved, and then we'll deal with the application. So if this application is to get approved, it would be with the condition of urban forestry's approval. The neighbor was spoken to last year, and her concerns were noted. Unfortunately, there is a long history between my client and her, and it's tough, and we can't go really into the little details. I know that she has issues with the maintenance of the property, and the drainage as well, which, I mean, following standard construction practices, the waterproofing is more or less guaranteed. And in terms of the maintenance, I mean, the whole idea is to renovate the property so that we can modernize the lot as well. So we've also had communication with Vincent Crescent, the local councillor, and MP Kirsty Duncan, and the application was well received. I'll go through the variances and why the application, in our opinion, should be considered minor in nature. In layman's terms, the building length and depth should be considered as almost one variance. The additional building length allows for a functional design that accommodates modern family living. The proposed length does not negatively impact the neighboring properties, as sufficient side yard setbacks and landscaping are being maintained to ensure privacy and compatibility with the character of the neighborhood, which there are approximately at least 10 other properties that have a similar layout to what we're proposing, where it's the base building and then the garage addition, or it's already was there. In terms of the variances for floor space index and the platform, these variances are more of a technicality due to the bylaws definition of the first floor. In this case, due to the elevations in comparison to the street, our existing basement level is considered the first floor. Even so, the proposed FSI aligns with comparable homes in the area, many of which have undergone similar modernizations, and the additional floor area is within the character of the community and does not result in an undue massing or visual aspect on the streetscape. And then while the proposed setback is less than required, the design is ensuring that there's adequate green space and it will be preserved. The rear yard remains functional for outdoor use, and the reduced setback is necessary to accommodate the modest extension while ensuring that the home's functionality and livability. In terms of the 4 tests, each variance requested represents a small adjustment that does not result in any significant negative impact on the neighborhood. The overall design respects the scale and character of the area. The proposed improvements modernize the home, making it more functional for a family while maintaining compatibility with the surrounding properties. This neighborhood is growing quite quickly, especially over the last 5 years. The zoning bylaws aim to ensure harmonious development, privacy, and adequate green space. The proposal respects these principles and maintains appropriate setbacks, landscaping, and architectural cohesion within the neighborhood. And do the variances maintain the general intent and purpose of the official plan? We like to think that the official plan encourages thoughtful intensification of residential properties to meet certain needs of the while preserving the neighborhood. With that, those are my points. I hope the committee can see this application as minor in nature.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Any questions from committee members? Don?
Yeah, a question about variance 2, the rear yard setback. Could you tell me what the rear yard setback of the existing buildings is?
Yes, of course. So
I can't tell from the surveyor. I wouldn't ask.
It's actually on the site plan, so I don't know if they want to bring that up, but I can tell you exactly. It's here. I have it as 2 numbers. The addition is 7.5 meters, and the remaining setback is 6.3 meters.
Okay, thank you.
And there's currently no garage.
About 13.8. There's currently no garage. The driveway just extends to the back,
Yeah,
and
and
they've been
it's the
parking
garage that creates
outside.
the setback.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Okay. Any other questions?
you're welcome.
No. Okay. If we can get the area resident online then, Susan?
Afternoon, Chairman.
Good afternoon.
Everyone. I am here today to speak about the development plan and the requested variances for 7 Hinton.
Can you state your name and address, please?
Yes, my name is Susan Linzer. I live at 4 West Ever Gate. I am the neighbor on the south side of the property 7 Hinton.
The adjacent.
And the variances affect me directly. From what I've read and what I understand, the minor variance is anywhere up to 5% change, and that's considered a minor variance. And from what I read, I actually have made notes based on the original variances, and my apologies for being I'm kind of winging it based on my numbers that I calculated, but I'm concerned about the minimum required setback at the rear. Based on what I can see, it's increasing by 41% rather than a 5% change.
There is no set percentage to define a minor variance. I just want to clarify that right up front.
I'm sorry?
There is no set percentage that defines a minor variance.
Well, minor is
minor is open to
restrictive.
interpretation, and so I just take issue with you saying that 5% is a minor variance.
Well, and I agree, Chairman. It is up for interpretation, but I'm very concerned about that particular request. As well, in my letter, I've noted some other concerns based on the aesthetics and the value of my property. The rear setback affects my property quite a bit. And the structure that is proposed will be quite high over my backyard. It will shade the afternoon sun from my yard. And I do not want to have any windows on the south side because that would take away all the privacy that I have in my yard. I'm very concerned about the water and the drainage and any kind of vegetation or growth between her existing south side of the building that would face my property. And those are my basic concerns. I mean, I have calculated out the differences, and based on the numbers, they are all quite high. And in my opinion, a 20% change up to as high as, you know, the permitted platform change, they're quite significant in it and not minor. The signatures that she also received were mostly from people in the neighborhood that are not going to be directly affected. And I just like that noted as well.
Sorry, anything else? I don't want to cut off your time.
I think basically I've covered what I'd like to say. My big concern is that you know, neighboring properties are adversely affected by variances, and due to the view, the sunlight, and the overall character and aesthetics, along with the other reasons. But that is going to affect my property a great deal.
Okay, thank you. Unquestionably, you are the most affected by it. You are the only immediate neighbor. So we totally understand that. I'd like to get a little bit of a clarification on the rear setback and how you feel that that affects you, because you're actually not to the rear of the property, you're to the side of the property, to the south of it, in fact.
No. Yeah, I'm to the south, yes.
I could understand if you were behind it, then the rear setback could, you know, would be an issue. I mean, you understand that if they were to construct a detached garage, they wouldn't need that variance. So I'm just trying to understand why you feel that affects you.
I'm sorry, I'm a bit confused by what you're saying.
Okay, well, you're to the south of the property, so it's not like if you were to the north of the property, you would be more inclined to be cut off with sunlight. But you're to the south, and the variance is going to the west, not to the south.
Yeah, yes, but I do get it. It will affect the aesthetics and the sunlight in my backyard.
Okay. From the north.
It's also going to affect the distance between the proposed dwelling and my detached garage, which concerns me a great deal.
I'm just trying to see if there's a variance for the setback, and I don't believe there is. Yeah.
And I didn't mention, and I thought I would mention, the angled driveway is also not aesthetically pleasing, but
we have no control over that,
opinion.
and that's not up for discussion here. So there is no side yard setback being requested. Okay, any other questions?
Just wanted to confirm the address that she's speaking from. Is it 3 Rustover Gate? Is that your address?
No, number 4. Gate. Number 4. I'm directly
behind.
On the
Next
south
to.
side, yeah.
So it's number 4.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Okay,
it affects my property significantly.
yeah, we're just trying to understand how
I can see that.
the specific variances and what your specific concerns are with those variances, but there's a driveway between you and this property, is there not?
The back of, yes, the south side of that property faces my driveway. That's right.
Right, so there's a separation of your driveway between this house and your property.
No, I mean, the driveway is my property, so.
I understand
The
that.
separation,
But the separation,
yes,
the driveway separates your house from their house, correct?
yes, it's on the driveway side. That's correct.
Okay. I'll come back to the agent for a rebuttal.
And I also just wanted to note, on the proposed elevations that were submitted on A306, there are no windows on the second floor. There's only windows on the first floor of the building.
Thank you, members of the committee, and through you, Mr. Chair. Well, first, I just want to note that my intention with the application is always to try to work with the neighbors. Susan and I did speak. Like I said, it was about a year ago. Since then, I haven't seen any other letter of objection. But in regards to this letter of objection that from June 6, 2023, one thing that I just want to make clear, just state, is that we're also not going for any kind of height variance. And so if a two-story dwelling if this building were to be knocked down and a two-story dwelling were to be put up, it would probably be put up in similar fashion, just because of the comparison of the neighborhood for corner lots. Some people have the detached garage, which we wouldn't even be here if I just did a detached. The other thing, there is obviously the buffer of the driveway, just so Susan understands as well, that the principal building and our building is actually well separated. And in terms of drainage, like I said, we rely on standard construction practices to make sure that the water is being controlled. But we don't have any intention of just dumping everything onto her side. And like, I don't like getting into the squabbles of the neighbors, just going with the facts. But for my client's sake, I know that she's complained already about the existing garage overhanging onto her side of the property. So look, we tried our best to try to meet everybody's demands as well. And since the beginning, and this is coming from me specifically, I understand what it's like to have an invasion of privacy. So we purposely did not put any windows on that south side, and focus is on Hinton Road. So all the lights would come from there. And I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, and one of the committee members just pointed out that, I mean, the proposed garage is going to line up with the neighbor's proposed garage. Any other questions?
Correct.
Yep. Okay, we'll take it into committee then. Thank you. Any discussion? Anyone ready for a motion?
Yeah, I'd like to move a motion. I believe the application is fairly straightforward. So I move a motion for approval, subject to the forestry condition.
Thank you, Mr. Dalton. Seconder.
I'll second that. Just a little bit of commentary though first. Yeah, I can see the impact of this to the neighbor to the south, and that what's going to be there is very different than what is there now. However, this addition is adjacent to or aligned with her garage. As was pointed out, there's no windows on the south wall of the proposed addition. Because the house is being built to the north of the neighbor to the south, there's going to be minimal impact on sunlight and shadowing, except maybe a couple of weeks, late June, early July, maybe a little bit of a shadow wedge that doesn't exist now. But yeah, I support the motion and second it.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. All in favor? Unanimous approval. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Okay, our next item is number 23, item number 23, which is 47 Alamide Crescent. This is an application to construct a second-story addition above the existing dwelling and a two-story rear addition. There are 4 variances being requested. Planning has a condition of approval in the event that we should approve. There's 1 letter of support. This application was deferred originally from October the 10th. 23. Wes, agent is online.
Yes, Mr. Chair. My name is Wes Kovlu of Nineveh Design and Project Management, based out of Mississauga. I am the authorized agent for 47 Alamede from the Colutries.
Welcome, sir. We can just do a brief overview. I don't think we need a full presentation.
Thank you, sir. So basically what we're looking at doing is building a second floor addition over the existing house. With this, we're maintaining all of our green space, maintaining all of the trees. There's no drainage that is affected. We're keeping everything in the existing footprint of the building. So all of the existing setbacks to the property lines are all the same. Keeping in with this, we have worked with planning since our last deferral. And Mr. Chair, just sorry to correct you, but I believe there's 3 letters of support that we have from neighbors as well since then. We've worked with plan to basically revise the height to be something that fits a little bit more in the context of the neighborhood, as well as we do agree with planning and what they've put forth, recommending the approval with the current proposed FSI and height.
Okay.
And then to also confirm that we're also making sure that this is indeed going to be a 2-story dwelling, keeping the facade as we've basically proposed of being 2-story with the traditional roof. And then this is also going to just maintain as a single family home.
Thank you. Any questions from panel members? No? And I'm assuming there's no one else to speak on this item?
No, there is not.
Okay. Let's take it into committee then.
I'd like to move a motion for approval. This application is very straightforward, meets the 4 tests, and there are no conditions.
Thank you, Mr. Dalton.
Oh, yes, there are.
Yes, there are. The planning condition.
The November 22nd, 2024 planning memo. I'm corrected.
Okay. So subject to planning? Okay. Any seconder?
I will second that, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Vogt. All in favor? Okay, unanimous approval.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, committee.
Thank you, sir. One more before break. Okay. Number 24, 12 Smith Crescent. This is an application to construct a new garden suite in the rear yard. There are 5 variances being requested. Planning has a requested condition in the event of approval. This item was originally deferred from October 24th of 2024. We have Ryan Dunlop as agent online.
Yes. Hi, Mr. Chair.
Good afternoon. Again, I don't think we need a full presentation. If you could just give us a bit of a summary.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're looking to construct a 1-story garden suite in the rear yard. The 5 variances that we're looking for are relatively minor. 3 of them are in relation to side yard setbacks on the east and west of the lot, and the 4th one is in relation to the roof eaves overhang, and the last one being the rear yard landscaping. We're just shy of the required 50%. I think that pretty much quick summary of it. I'm happy to answer any questions that any of you might have.
Thank you. Any questions? No? Is there there are no other speakers?
There's no one registered.
Okay, no one here. Okay, let's take it into committee. Any discussion or is someone ready for a motion?
I'll move motion, similar to the last application.
Okay.
This one is very straightforward. I believe it meets the 4 tests, and it should be then subject to the November 18th, 2024 planning condition.
Thank you. Bill?
Second that.
Natalia, thank you. All in favor? Okay, unanimous approval.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan. Okay, let's do at least one more. Number 25, 97 Yorkview Drive. This is an application to construct a new detached dwelling with an attached garage. There are 3 variances being requested. This was originally deferred from September of 2024. There are no comments from any city departments. And Joe? Yes?
Pardon me?
Are you Joe?
No, I'm Jeff. I'm
Okay.
the agent, Jeffrey Young.
So Jeffrey is the agent, so he'll be speaking on behalf of this item.
Jeffrey Young, okay.
Yeah.
So I've got
Joe's the owner.
Joe's the owner. Okay, so let me cross him off my list. Sorry, could I get your address as well?
Sure, it's 229 Mapleview Drive, Unit 7, Barrie, Ontario.
Okay. Thank you. And if you can give us a, hold on. So we've got a Michael and Tanya as well? But
That's Joe's daughter and son-in-law.
Okay, so they're not presenting, they're just on the list. Okay.
Correct.
Sorry, can you just repeat your address one more time? We have a different one on our records here.
It's 229 Mapleview Mapleview Drive, Unit 7, Barrie, Ontario. What do you have, 1099?
1099 Stony Point Road.
That we just recently changed our address.
Okay.
Okay, again.
Sorry for the
Jeffrey
confusion.
Young, right?
Pardon me?
You're Jeffrey Young?
That's me. Last
Okay.
time I checked this morning.
We just
You got a driver's license?
Yeah, I have one.
everybody gets thrown for a loop when everyone has different notes.
No problem.
Okay. So again, I don't think we need a full presentation, but if you can just hit us with some high points here.
Sure. What we're doing is we're proposing to construct a single-family, 2-story single-family home with an attached garage. The new home is going to be sitting in the exact envelope of the current home that's there, which is a bungalow with a detached garage. We are unable to, or we tried as best we can to shorten the house as much as possible, but at the same time respecting, we wanted to put the detached or the attached garage in the current driveway location so that we're not impacting on the existing tree that's in the boulevard. So, so that's the reason why we're having an issue with maintaining the length, but we feel it's minor in nature. And we're also over in the floor index because of the fact that we're attaching the garage. And so therefore, that's why there's a bit of an increase.
Okay, great. Any questions? No?
We appreciate the fact that you're doing that in order to preserve the tree canopy, so thank you.
Oh, thank you.
And I'm assuming there are no other speakers.
No, there are not.
Okay, thank you. So we'll take it into committee. You can have a seat. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so as I say, no conditions, no comments from any other
Actually, I
department.
think there are transportation comments from August 30th, are there not?
And that's why the driveway was moved.
Okay, okay. Sorry,
I have an urban
missed that.
forestry August 28th, 24
Yeah.
condition or denial or condition as well.
So forestry has provided updated comments, so I would just rely on the
update.
comments.
I don't think there are any
Okay.
Yeah.
conditions now.
Okay.
It was when the driveway was
not
on Yorkview instead of Chartwell. So if no one has
They're
any,
So they've been removed.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we still have transportation conditions, so even though it's been,
No.
No.
so there are no
No.
comments,
There are no conditions now.
conditions, right?
That
Okay.
was my.
Thank you,
that was
confusing
my,
me.
That was my reading of it, yes. So if no one has any comments or questions, I'm prepared to make a motion. I believe this application meets the 4 tests under the Planning Act, and again, I appreciate what you did in order to preserve the tree canopy and move for approval with no conditions.
Thank you, Laura. Seconder?
I'll second that.
Thanks, Bill. All in favor? Unanimous approval. Thank you, sir. Okay, let's keep going. Unless you don't want to. Two more. Item 26, 19 Edgemore Drive. This is an application to construct a two-story rear addition, deferred from originally September of 2024. There are two variances being requested. Again, I see no conditions. If someone else does, please let me know. Okay. Good to go. So I've got to find out who my speakers are. Okay, Aaron, agent online.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can, thank you. Can you just clarify your
Hi.
name?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. My name is Aaron Idoween. I'm the agent for the owners.
Can we get your address as well, please?
Sure. I'm at 285 Hillhurst Boulevard.
Okay, we
North
got
York.
that one, but just want to clarify and make sure. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you. So again,
And,
I don't think we need a full presentation. If you want to just
Okay.
give a brief summary.
Sure. So this is for a two-story rear addition to an existing house, and I'm seeking two variances, one for FSI and one for coverage, lot coverage. So the first one is lot coverage. I'm requesting 37% lot coverage versus the allowable 33% lot coverage, and the floor space index, I am asking for 62% or 0.62%, or yeah, 0.62. The proposal has changed slightly since September. I reduced the size of it and shifted away from the west property line. So I'm no longer seeking the side yard setback that was originally being sought.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions?
Just a comment. I just want to thank you. Unlike a previous applicant, I just want to thank you for keeping this beautiful Humberstone home intact and for putting an architecturally sensitive addition on it. So thank you for that.
You're quite welcome.
Okay, on that note, I'm assuming there are no other speakers?
There is not.
Okay, so let's take it into committee.
I'm happy to go ahead with a motion if no one else has any questions. So again, thank you for doing this for the city, and I move for approval with no conditions. I believe this application more than meets the four tests. It's very desirable, and again, no conditions on this.
Thank you, Ms. Alderson. Seconder?
I'll second.
Mr. Dalton, all in favor? Okay, unanimous approval. Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we got a bigger one coming up. Item 27, 2451 St. Clair Avenue West. This is an application to construct a 6-story mixed-use building that will consist of 10 residential units and retail on the ground floor. There are 4 variances being requested. Transportation is requesting 9 conditions of approval. Planning is requesting 4 conditions of approval, and there are a couple of letters of support. And Nama?
Yes.
Welcome.
Welcome back.
Welcome
it's good
back.
to be back.
Deferred from October 24th,
Correct.
2024.
So good afternoon, Chair and members of the committee. It's good to be back. I want to start by saying that we are here again due to a technical adjustment in how we calculate the FSI, taking into account the road widening. So I want to emphasize that there are no other changes to it. This is the exactly same application as you saw in October. So thank you for taking the time to review our application. My name is Nama Blonder, and I'm here to present the rationale behind the requested minor variance for the proposed 6 stories mixed-use development at 2451 St. Clair Avenue West. As a reminder, this project represents a rental development that will provide 10 family-sized residential units and grade-level retail. It has been designed through collaborative process with city staff, aligning with Toronto's vision for mixed-use areas, and contributing to an active, vibrant public realm. The owner has agreed to all conditions set by the city, as you mentioned, including rail noise, vibration impact, and air quality studies, and is committing to implementing all recommended mitigation measures. We have received 4 letters of support and 1 letter of objection from a community member, which I would like to respectfully address. The gentleman was here last time, is not here today, but I will do it anyway. So I would like to respectfully address the letter. The main concerns were 1, parking and traffic concerns. So the proposed reduction in parking to 2 spaces aligns with the city's ongoing policy shift to reduce parking minimums. We're only asking for this variance because we are in the old zoning of the city. If that wasn't the case, that wouldn't be a variance. Especially in transit-oriented location like this one, Council has recognized that continuing to prioritize car storage over housing reinforces the challenges of affordability and sustainability. Our site is well served by public transit, making car ownership less necessary. I understand the concern about traffic, but the reality is what we cannot solve Toronto's housing crisis if we continue planning for cars instead of people. There are many families, on a personal anecdote, including myself and my own family, who choose to live car-free and rely on transit and other sustainable modes of transportation. And yes, I came here today using the streetcar and then the subway and then the bus. This project will help address the demand for attainable rental housing for those who prioritize this, the same priorities as I mentioned. The second thing is that the impact on his neighboring business. We appreciate and value the concerns raised about the neighboring motor repair shop. However, this type of mixed-use development is not only allowed, this is not a variance that we're asking, the residential use is not a variance, but it is been proven that mixed-use developments coexist successfully with various businesses across the city. New residents and retail at grade will bring additional foot traffic to the area, support local businesses. Housing and density. The variances requested allow us to deliver family-sized units, which are critically needed in Toronto. This is the side setback variance. The slight increase in height and density, which is 0.55 meters, it's what allows us to deliver these high-quality units of 3 bedrooms and 10 units of them. And now for the 4 tests and how it all falls under the Planning Act, each requested variance meets the 4 tests. It conforms with the city's official plan and zoning bylaw. This project supports intensification in mixed-use areas and promote transit-oriented housing, aligning with the city's goals of creating complete walkable communities. It is desirable for land development. It adds much-needed family housing, as you also saw in the letters of support, and it's minor in nature. The changes are modest. We're seeking, as I said, a 0.55 meter height in difference, and the parking variance and the side setback increase. And the design promotes sustainability, livability, and alignment with the city's long-term vision, and that's why it's appropriate. It is meaningful contribution to the community, addressing both housing and sustainability goals. It reflects the city's commitment to more equitable, people-focused urban environment. Thank you for your time, and I'm happy to answer any questions. Look at me at the time.
Thank you. Perfect time. Okay, yeah, don't go away. I'm going to start with one question. The property next door, 2453, have you had any feedback from them?
That's the motor, right? That's
no,
their address?
The car repair, which I think...
The car repair, yeah.
Is not... Kia Motors is different, is 2 two numbers to the east. I'm talking about the first one to the west, which I'm not. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I know there's a barber shop, but it's between this lot and the barber shop, so I'm not sure if it even is a business.
I don't recall.
No feedback from that.
No.
Yeah, the reason I'm asking is because it looks like they have second floor rental units or residential units now, and those windows are going to directly look onto your property, with probably a separation of less than a meter.
So we have our windows. So
I know, oriented into the courtyard.
Exactly. And we have a little bit of an angle, so there will be no direct views between the units, and that's what allows us to have the third bedroom, which we think it's exactly what we need. We're in a severe demand for 3 bedrooms in this city.
Am I looking at something different? Okay, yeah, but that's not the car repair place. This is yeah, I'm talking about a commercial and residential.
I have a question of staff, actually. This is a major thoroughfare or an avenue. Is 6 stories not as of right, can be built as of right?
Isn't 4? No, 6.
Just 6 stories.
So it is 6. If
so
I may,
6 stories can be built as of right.
Yes, and it's the height variance we're asking is per 0.55 meter.
Okay.
So is that just for the penthouse level, for the mechanical level? Or is it the main level that's the variance is for?
Well, it's for the total height of the building, and we did it so the at-grade retail will have better quality ceiling height.
It's not a house.
Okay. So the penthouse mechanical level is not impacted by the height bylaw?
I believe this is included.
No?
Well,
it doesn't matter.
We can open the package.
Okay.
Everything is there.
It's okay. I mean, your variance is quite minor in any case, so that's fine. Okay. Sorry. Any other questions?
Okay, here it is. You can see everything on this image in terms of the height. If you want to really zoom in on the variance, we listed everything there and.
Okay. Now, can you scroll back down? Whoever's doing this. Down. Perfect. Stop.
So it is 6 stories. It just exceeds that.
Yeah, and so what's the amount? It's okay. It's gone out of focus again. So the permitted is 25.
Scroll down
20.
20 point. If you scroll down a little bit, I've listed it.
I got it. So,
okay.
So yeah. So what I'm getting at, Laura, is that the majority of it. So the mechanical penthouse is not included in the height calculation.
Right.
So it's actually going to be higher than just the.
And the ceilings are quite high. How high are the ceilings? How?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. Correct. The mechanical, it doesn't count under the zoning
yeah.
permitted. To be honest, I can't see the font. If you want to zoom in, I'm sure that's what it says. But the mechanical is allowed to extrude the zoning height.
Yeah. Okay. So it's the main part of the building.
It's the main part of the building.
That's
correct.
going 0.5. Okay.
I think the rendering looks good in any event. I just wanted to ask, you're aware of the transportation conditions and you're aware of the community planning conditions from a previous memo.
Yeah.
We are, and we completed our studies, both our own initiated and the peer review asked by the city, and both came with the same recommendations.
And you plan on doing commercial at grade. Do you know if this falls within a BIA or not,
No,
this
there's no-
particular district? There's no BIA there, is there?
No.
I don't think so. I think you're, yeah, no. Okay.
But we do believe that it will animate the street in a
Yes, no, it's great.
positive way.
Absolutely. So
Wait, do we have any other speakers on this item?
Sorry.
So yes, Mr. Chairman, we have two neighbors that are here. We got a Mario and a Radisa. So Mario, if you'd like to speak.
Come on up.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Can we get your name and address, please?
Yep. Mario Veronesi, 2449 St. Clair Avenue West.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Mario Veronesi, 2449 St. Clair Avenue West.
They might be in that building you're talking about.
AI, it's taking us over.
Are you in the building right beside that, right in between the Kia Motors and this particular project?
We are east of the building.
Past the parking lot.
Yeah, we're on the east of it.
Okay, and so do you own a business there, sir?
My brother does.
Okay, and it is the restaurant on the corner there?
No, it's
The barber shop?
if I can just go quickly through this.
Sure.
Yeah. The only thing that I've learned in the last few
Is the microphone
minutes
on?
is that the 5% is subjective as far as a variance
So
goes.
if you got the mic on, please?
It's not on?
No. He's taller than the previous speakers.
Oh, I hear you. Sorry.
It's okay.
2449.
I know your pain.
I just based the 5% on what was on the website. So it didn't say anything about subjective or anything. So I based some of my remarks on the 5%. So you can take them as what they are.
So your brother's building is?
Yeah, so my brother owns a
2449?
property adjacent and to the east of 2451 St. Clair Avenue West. So it consists of 3 apartments and a small engine repair business in the back. So he does gas motors for snow blowers, large and small, lawnmowers, that sort of idea. The City of Toronto Committee of Adjustment website provides a definition of what a minor variance is, and again, it's subjective. Deviation percentage is approximately 5%.
It's the house.
In our opinion, only one of the 4 variances listed come close to the committee's definition. The other 3 are substantially larger than a subjective 5%. So variance 1, gross floor increase. There's a maximum permitted gross floor area of 893 meters squared. They are asking for 1,311 meters squared. So it's an increased variance of about 418 square meters or 4,500 square feet, which to us is about 46.9%, which is to us a major variance. Now the setback is permitted at a minimum of 5.5 meters. They're asking for a decrease of 2.63 meters, which is a major variance again of 48% and is above the 5% subjective amount. The height is within the 5%. The parking spaces. So minimum required parking spaces is 12, and they are asking for a decrease of 10 spaces, which is about an 83% variance. Height and size concerns. We are concerned there will be less sunlight and it will have an impact on the garden we have, as well as overshadowing the current window and view of our apartments. We are concerned about rain runoff and the possibility of basement flooding. We experienced that with the building next door to us as well, and we've had to do some changes. That cost us a few dollars. Parking concerns. We are concerned there's not a sufficient amount of parking being constructed for the new building, as there currently an existing problem with parking. There are many local businesses such as restaurants, car dealerships, barbers, churches, etc. who rely on street parking. And since this is a major intersection, there is limited street parking available. The new 3-bedroom units are going to attract families with children, and that will in all likelihood mean they will own vehicles. There's also concern for the parking requirements for the retail space as well as the visitors to these units. We have 2 parking spaces in the front of the property for our clients and tenants, and they constantly have cars illegally parked in them or blocking them with deliveries or with clients for other local businesses. Precedent setting. We are concerned if these variances are approved, it will set a precedent for other buildings being constructed in the area. In conclusion, we recommend that the variances not be approved. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thanks. Don't go away. Any questions?
Yeah, I have a question. So you back onto a laneway, is that correct, sir?
That's right.
Your brother's property. Is there a shipping container back there with a lot of graffiti on it? Is that the end of your
Yes,
property?
there's a couple.
Couple of shipping containers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you said that there are people living in the upstairs of that building?
No, in the house in the front. There's a three apartment house in the front of the building. So there's 3 containers, there's a shop, and then there's a house in front of that.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay, yeah, is there another speaker?
Yes, so we have one more speaker, Radisa.
Please come on up.
Thank you. I'm going to do my best with my voice. Radisa Kasanik is my father. I'm Lula Kasanik, speaking on his behalf.
Can we get your address, please?
Sorry?
Your address?
2461 St. Clair Avenue West and 2459 St. Clair, which is adjacent to 2461 St. Clair. The entire property address is 2461 St. Clair, but the car lot that I'm going to speak about specifically right now is 2459. It's an old address, but the whole property for tax reasons goes on 2461 St. Clair.
2469.
So directly next to the restaurant on the corner of 2461 St. Clair is a vacant lot.
Yes.
That is the car business.
That's your property.
The whole property, the restaurant, the car business, and the 2 mechanical garages behind that carry a convenient address of 741 Runnymede.
Okay.
So a couple of concerns. The first concern being the amount of traffic. We are the owners and the landlords. We rent out the car lot. There is a business there that is retail car sales, and they have an in and out on that property. So we are concerned about the traffic that is going to be created with the amount of units that are going to be constructed here. And it could potentially block the in and out of our tenants at the car lot right next to the restaurant, which is the address I spoke about earlier, 2459 St. Clair.
What does the restaurant do for parking now?
The restaurant doesn't have parking right now.
Okay. So you're in the same situation as they are.
But our concern is that the car lot has an in and out on St. Clair. So if we're going to have that much traffic, we're going to end up blocking the in and out for the business, because the business moves cars in and out on St. Clair as well.
Isn't parking prohibited on that part of St. Clair?
It is indeed, but we see a lot of people, as the gentleman earlier had already stated, we see a lot of people breaking those rules. So the concern is with this, it's a realistic concern. We know that parking's prohibited. We know that there's ins and outs, but with this much traffic and this much density, we know that inadvertently we are bound to end up in this situation. The other concern is, just the amount of traffic and the number of units that's going to be created. It will create a lot of potential for visitors. And I don't understand what the visitor parking space is that's being allocated for that.
There isn't any.
Okay, so that's the concern.
That's the new bylaw in Toronto. They don't have to provide any more visitor parking.
Well, and I can appreciate where Toronto's coming from with that. But the concern is with the amount of, this is essentially, for that area, a high rise, more or less, for what we've got in the area. So the concern is that with that many units.
So you're concerned that 10 residential units that will not have parking is going to generate more parking demand than a commercial a restaurant or other commercial application?
Well, it's going to have, it's not, the parking that 10 residential units will typically demand is not walking area. It's not a walking area drop-in place. It's essentially, you're going to have visitors there. So that's the concern. I'm just raising it as something to think about. It's not in comparison to, anything else there. It's just that, is there going to be, the good old illegal blocking of going in and out of the car lot? And is it going to be raising a lot more density there for because of the actual amount of units that there are? It's bound to happen. We know it's bound to happen.
Okay.
Anyway.
Any other questions?
Yeah, so the parking lot that has access off the laneway at the back of your property, do they not exit and enter that parking lot from the laneway, not from St. Clair West?
No, they have the right to enter and exit from St. Clair. They have that right. So if that right is blocked,
to the laneway. So you don't whoever's using that, they don't come in off of Runnymede down the laneway and into the back?
They could, but we currently have a right to go in off St. Clair. So we don't want that right to be blocked as a result of this.
It's a no parking zone.
Understood. Understood that it's a no parking zone, but it's a valid complaint.
It's also a bus route where I think no parking is going to be enforced because it's a bus route.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I've stated my concern. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other speakers?
No, there is not.
Okay. Do we have questions for the second speaker? Or everyone's good with that?
Yeah.
Okay, so if we can get the applicant back. Not sure if you made notes, but it's your chance to rebut the...
I have.
Okay.
So I will address specifically the notes. So the use is allowed as of right. The height that we're asking for, you mentioned it by stories. The height that we are asking is the variance of the 0.5 meters. We can actually come with a building, applying directly for a building permit. So it's not a question of stories, it's a question of height. I never heard of the 5%, I have to say, the 5% definition of minor. I never heard of that. About parking, which I think is the main issue here that we're hearing, less parking creates less traffic. The people that are going to live there are not going to be owning 2-3 cars per family. It's a question, and I truly understand that people who are dependent on cars on their daily basis are having a hard time to believe that there are some people, families, young families in the city that are in desperate need for a housing solution will choose to live in a different lifestyle and not owning 1, 2, or more cars. And so the only thing that we are creating is foot traffic, which I'm sure is good for your restaurant. And I think I've addressed the main concerns, the two.
Okay, don't go away. You are providing 2 parking spaces, correct?
Correct.
Are they going to be for the residential units or for the commercial use?
Not for commercial. It's under the visitor.
So you're saying that will be the visitor parking?
I don't. How did we allocate? We just allocated 2 parking spots, access directly from the laneway. It's definitely not going to be allocated for a specific unit, and it might be either visitor or accessible. I don't think we have made a decision. That's what the property could hold 2 parking spots, access from the laneway, and that's what we provided with lots of bike parking.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to do visitors because no one will ever find it. So then it's really a question of whether you're going to apply that to the deficiency on the commercial side or the deficiency on the residential side.
Best to my knowledge, we did not allocate it to the commercial, but if there is...
potentially one or two of your residential units could come with parking then?
One or two of the residential units could come with parking. We can look at it that way, but
I think there's a requirement for it, though.
Well, there's a requirement for 12, but they're only providing 2, so I would like to know how they're being allocated.
residential.
Residential.
To the residential.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Okay, thanks. We're going to take it into committee for some discussion and see where we get.
Thank you.
Okay.
I just want to say, this is so after touring this neighborhood, I'm impressed that, you know, someone wants to make this kind of investment in this neighborhood. I think it's a very worthwhile endeavor, and I think it's much needed in the city, and I am impressed that someone is willing to make this sort of commitment to the neighborhood. So I just want to say that.
Okay. Any other comments or discussion? Or I think, as was mentioned, this is an avenue. It is the use is permitted. We're not asking for a variance on that.
That's true. Yeah.
I'm still struggling with why the coverage is only 2.5. I thought it would have been more on a designated avenue, but I think part of that too is the lot is being reduced for the road widening. Okay, given where we're at, also that Bill is not here, and I can't vote to create a tie, so I'm going to be abstaining. So it's up to you guys.
I think I've made my feelings pretty clear. I think this is a much needed type of housing in the city. You know, not everyone has a car or two cars in their driveway. Like the agent said, I too actually arrived here on transit from the downtown core. So this is not rocket science. It's not something that is completely foreign to a lot of people. It's a lifestyle choice. So, you know, I think I think the variances are minor, and I think if the applicant agrees to all of the conditions, I fully support this development. So I move for approval, subject to transportation conditions. There are a number of them, and community planning has 4 conditions as well. I think the rendering looks very good.
Thank you, Ms. Alderson. Is there a seconder?
I'll second that motion, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. All in favor? Okay, the application is approved. Thank you.
And was there a need for you to abstain, or you?
No, I mean, I can, it doesn't really matter which way I go at this point. I'll vote in favor of it then.
In favor?
With the conditions,
With the,
transportation.
well, I can't change the motion, so.
Anyway, good luck with your project. Do us proud. Thank you. Make it beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, oh yeah, with the 9 and 4. And do we want to take a break, or do we want to move through to the end of the afternoon agenda? What's the consensus before we get Bill back? Break? Yeah, okay. So back at 1:45, or what? 2:45, sure. Thank you.
were kind of blown away with her, actually. Because she was talking our type
Our
of
language,
transit.
yeah. Okay. Yeah, we're not going to make it. The next one's going to take a while. Google image, does that mean it was done in May the 24th? May of 2024?
Okay, guys, it's 2:47, so we're going to go ahead and get started.
Okay, welcome back, everyone. So our next item is item 28, which is 40 Mimico Avenue. This is an application to maintain an existing enclosed porch and a parking space located in the front yard. There are 5 variances being requested. We have a number of letters in support and a number of letters in objection. We have no recommendations from any city departments. Christine Brown is the agent, and I'm assuming Christine is online.
Yes, she is. I will connect it right now.
And this was deferred.
Yes, hi there.
Hi, good afternoon. Can we just get your name and address again, just officially for the record, before you do a presentation for us?
Yep, my name is Christine Brown, and I live at 444 Upper Gage Avenue in Hamilton, and I am here acting as agent on behalf of the homeowners.
Okay, thank you. We do have people here to speak in opposition, so perhaps you can do a presentation.
Sure, I have something prepared here.
Okay, go ahead.
Good afternoon, Chair and Good afternoon, Chair and members of the committee. We are seeking 5 total minor variance approvals upon updated from the previous 8 that we were originally seeking in our deferred application from October 24th. Our original application was for a 2-story rear yard addition. This application got flagged for front yard landscaping and parking upon completion of a zoning application. We defer due to neighbor complaints. This recirculation is to get variance approvals relating to pre-existing conditions without any alterations to the existing home. And we do feel that the variances meet the 4 tests for minor variance. Our previous application included variances relating to a rear yard addition. After reading the letters of opposition from the neighbors that pertain to our first application, we requested deferral to allow us time to revisit the design for the addition and seek approval for the existing home. The homeowner spoke with both adjacent neighbors prior to resubmitting for circulation to better understand their concerns with the rear addition. We confirmed that their main concern was with the overall size of the proposed addition without any complaints regarding the existing front conditions, which is reflective of many houses along Mimico Avenue and neighboring streets. This includes the direct adjacent neighbors. It has not been determined if the homeowners are going to proceed with a rear addition, but if they choose to, it will be designed in full compliance with the bylaw, therefore not requiring any variances. This is something the homeowners explained to the neighbors with the understanding that it would result in a smaller addition than what was originally desired and proposed. This direction is to address their concerns about the overall size we were originally proposing. 4 of the 5 variances are relating to the existing parking conditions. It was not obvious at the time of purchasing the home that the front yard parking space was non-conforming, as it was smoothly paved along with the shared driveway and neighbor's front parking space. It is not possible for the homeowners to use the rear parking for their vehicle, as it is not safe to drive along the shared driveway between the 2 houses, given that the vehicle only has 5 millimeters of clearance to fit between the houses. The width of the narrowest part, where the chimney for 42 Mimico is only 2.11 meters. There are numerous scratch marks along the structural brick wall, and there is concern for more future damage by attempting to fit vehicles. Parking on this street poses safety risks for loading and unloading small children across a busy street. There is only parking allowed on the south side of Mimico Avenue, which is opposite the subject property. Permitted street parking is not designated along Mimico Avenue. The vehicle for the home in question fits in the front parking spot without blocking the sidewalk as it is. The parking space length can be met if the front planter is removed, but this will further reduce the landscaping percentage, which is one of our variances. The planter is flush with the paved parking space and does not impede the homeowner's ability to park. We would like to make mention that all 4 neighboring properties, 36, 38, 42, and 44 Mimico, utilize their front parking. We cannot speak to whether these were previously approved or not, but if there are questions about visibility, safety, permeability, and landscaping, some of the conditions are occurring along each of the 5 properties and many other properties in the neighborhood. It is important to note that in the original letters of opposition from 38 and 42 Mimico, they expressed opposition with the addition and the size of the addition itself. There were no previous complaints relating to the front yard landscaping and parking, which were outlined in the original application. Community planning did not put forth any recommended rejections to the application. There was no objection or complaints about landscaping or water runoff. We trust that the application is supported by community planning. These minor variances are similar to the conditions of neighboring properties and do not significantly impact neighboring dwellings, as these are existing conditions. They provide the family with an added sense of security. I trust that this explanation is satisfactory for the variances requested. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions of the applicant from the committee? Don?
Yes, sir. Could you tell me when the existing enclosed porch was built?
I am not 100% sure, but I think it was within the last 5 years.
Was it prior to the current owners?
No, it was the current owners.
So it looks like they didn't get a variance for it. I'm just curious, did they get a building permit for it?
They were unaware that anything was required.
Okay, they're kind of matching what exists on a number of houses on that stretch of the street, correct?
Correct. It doesn't really look out of place, and it really helps the homeowner with a sense of security.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah. So when did the current owner purchase the home?
The current owner is there right now. I'm not sure when they actually purchased the home. I'd have to pull up my application.
So then how did they discover that the driveway is non-compliant?
Building permit application for the back addition.
Okay.
Yes, when we submitted our ZAP for the rear addition.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay. No more questions? No. Okay. So if we can now go to the area residents that are, I believe there's one in person, Kimberly.
Good afternoon, committee. My name's Kimberly Jelly, and I'm co-owner of 42 Mimico Avenue with my husband, Peter Watson. I did have some pictures that we came, if they could come up. Great.
So you have a shared driveway with the applicant?
Yes, we do.
And also a covered porch?
Yes.
Thank you.
And also a front parking pad.
Yes.
So I'm speaking to you today to express our concerns about the variances requested at 40 Mimico. It's very disappointing that the illegal nature of the parking pad was not picked up by home inspectors during the time the house was renovated. I'd also like to point out that this is the second time we're here regarding this property. The first time the owners deferred at the very last minute. The committee granted the last minute deferral as 40 Mimico said they wanted to reconsider plans based on neighbors' input. The committee stated that they were to talk to us before resubmitting. This did not occur. My husband saw their new submission online and did contact the city about this. 40 Mimico then spoke to us 4 or 5 days later, not before. We have several concerns with the illegal parking pad, the first of which is safety. Mimico Avenue is a one-way street running from left to right. I park at the rear of our home. When there is a vehicle parked on the parking pad at 40 Mimico, my vision of the street and sidewalk is very obstructed. The illegal pad at 40 Mimico is too short by over half a meter, and as a result, their vehicle reaches right to the sidewalk. I exit the driveway facing forward, so all the traffic is moving from the driver's side from my left to the right. So as the pictures show, I cannot clearly see the sidewalk or the road as I'm coming up to the sidewalk. Even when I get the front of my car is right at the sidewalk, I do not have a clear vision. These pictures, if you can flash through them, you can sort of see where I am. But that's my view from my car. Many of the pedestrians are elementary school children that walk to John English Public School and also go down to the shops on Lakeshore Boulevard at their lunch. Often these children are in groups and they're not paying attention as they walk up the street. Just late last week, 4 children that were walking back to school were horsing around. When 2 of them eventually looked up and saw my vehicle sitting there waiting to pull out, they darted across the sidewalk directly in front of me instead of stopping. So had I not seen them, this could have been very disastrous. Every time I drive up the driveway when their vehicle is parked, I have to be concerned that someone has seen me if I have somehow missed seeing them. When the front of 40 Mimico was soft landscaping, there was no obstruction, and so safety was not an issue at that time. 40 Mimico still has safe access to off-street parking in the rear of their home, where historically parking had always taken place. It's safer to park in the rear of the home as their children are well away from the busy road. The driveway between the houses is not wide, but we've driven 6 different vehicles safely up and down without damaging our vehicles or the houses. We currently park a Subaru Crosstrek and a Volkswagen camper van in the rear of our home, so this should not be an issue for 40 Mimico to park either. The reality is that this argument is a Trojan horse, as 40 Mimico really doesn't want to park in the back because they still want to build their addition there. We also have concerns about the environmental effects of the loss of soft landscaping has caused. Soft landscaping helps with rainwater absorption, decreasing surface runoff, preventing flooding, and filtering pollutants before they enter the water systems. And these have all been seriously affected by the placement of hard landscaping in the front of 40 Mimico. I don't think it's here. I had a picture of the mature trees. There were 3 to 4 very large mature trees and soft landscaping before the renovation. When the city created the city has created bylaws for specific reasons. The bylaws are updated as the needs of the city change, and so every situation cannot be viewed the same way. The very purpose of the bylaws are to be enforced. Otherwise, what's the point of having them? If the bylaws breached at 40 Mimico are not enforced, it opens the door for others to do the same thing. It has been brought to our attention that another home on our street has very recently ripped out all of their front landscaping and replaced it with a giant concrete pad and steps. The city did confirm that this was not a permitted renovation, so it appears that a slippery slope of decreasing softscaping is already happening. And if this home is brought to account for their breach of the bylaw, will they not use 40 Mimico as a recent example of the bylaw not being upheld? Several of the letters of support are from addresses that have also replaced portions of their softscaping with hardscaping and parking, so I have to ask, are they supporting the situation purely to protect their own actions? In closing, we're very grateful that we have this opportunity to put on official city record our concerns about the safety at the bottom of the driveway between 40 and 42 Mimico Avenue, as we have at least been able to draw this to the city's attention to hopefully allow them to rectify any safety issues in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Don't go away. I have a couple of questions.
Yes.
Do you also have a parking pad in front of your house?
Yes, we do.
And you say you don't park there?
My husband parks there.
And what is he parking there, a pickup truck?
Yes.
Okay. And do you know what percentage of front yard landscaping you have?
I don't know the exact percentage of the front landscaping. No, I don't. Okay. But we do have grass.
And would you describe your front yard parking pad as legal?
I believe that it is. It's been there for many, many years. We have the softscaping. the curb on the road is removed from it, so
You
you
have
can
a
drive
curb cut.
directly onto it. We've seen pictures of the parking pad being there in the 1940s. So
Really? Okay.
that was kind of my point, that I know the bylaws changed, so I don't know when they've changed. Our assumption has always been that it was a legal
Well,
pad.
the asphalt paving looks like it's about the same age for you and your
Yes.
neighbors.
Yes.
So we're both paved at the same time?
Yes, they were. When the person that renovated the home was doing the renovations, he approached us to pave them together.
And you didn't have a problem with them establishing a parking pad at that time?
We didn't know it wasn't legal. He had
So you don't really know if yours is legal then?
on that point. Yes, you're correct.
Okay. And is theirs any wider than yours?
I think it is, because they don't have any grass left anymore.
Well, they still have some soft landscaping. There's some bushes and there's some
Right,
interlocking
yes.
stone, but the asphalt portion to me looks about the same on both
Yeah.
sides.
I've never measured, so I honestly can't answer that properly.
Okay, so it's a little, it's interesting that, you're complaining about something that you exactly have the same thing.
My biggest concern, honestly, is the safety, because I can't see past the front of his truck, and so I can't see the sidewalk well, and there's a lot of children
Well,
walking up that sidewalk.
People walk both directions.
Yes, they
So
do.
Both, that same argument would apply for someone else coming out of the driveway, and you can't see the other way. It's not just, it's not a one-way sidewalk, it's a one-way
No,
street.
that is true. It is easier for me to see to my right, because I'm looking over the back of the truck bed, and I have a little bit more space in my car. But
Yeah,
you are
assuming,
correct, sir.
Assuming you
Yes.
pull the truck in frontwards and if you
He
pull it
does,
in
yes.
backwards,
He
then
never parks
Same
backwards.
difference. Okay, any other questions from committee members?
Well, yeah, apparently it is a one-way street, because there's a 4x4 pickup in your driveway and there's a 4x4 pickup in the neighbor's driveway. So I'm just wondering what the difference is.
I'm sorry, I don't understand your question.
You've got a pickup truck.
Yes.
4x4 pickup truck on your front parking space.
Yes.
That is your husband's truck. You said
Yes.
that's what he drives. And there is pretty much the exact same truck in the neighbor's driveway. It's actually a little bit smaller.
So the neighbor always reverses into his parking pad, so the front of his truck is facing me, so
Which
I
is
can't
actually,
see through.
from a safety perspective, if he's facing out, he can see much more easily than someone backing up.
Yes, that is true, but I can't see through his truck to see out.
Right, but you're probably creating a more dangerous situation backing your pickup truck out of that driveway.
When my husband backs out, there's no car in between us, so there is a space of at least 6 to 8 feet where the shared driveway runs, so they're not side by side. I'm directly beside the pickup truck, the neighbor's pickup truck, when I have to pull out. So what I'm trying to say is my husband has more vision of the sidewalk than I do.
And you're not entirely sure whether your parking pad is legal.
I am not. It's always been there since
Okay.
I've lived there.
So I think there may be a little bit of hypocrisy in this presentation. That's all.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we have another speaker.
Yes, I will connect them right now. Go ahead, Jason.
Hello, good afternoon, Jason.
Hi. Hello. Good afternoon. My name is Jason Yim. I reside at 38 Mimico Avenue. It is I am the neighbor on the
other
east side,
side.
and I live with my partner.
Okay.
On the other side, exactly.
Yeah.
And I live with my partner and a 14-month-old child, and I'm writing to express my strong objection to the requested variances for 40 Mimico Avenue. So the removal of the soft landscape at 40 Mimico Avenue has already caused significant environmental and safety concerns, as highlighted by my neighbor's letters. The lack of soft landscaping has reduced water absorption, increased runoff, and contributed to visibility issues that endanger pedestrians, cyclists, and drivers. Furthermore, the illegal front yard parking represents a clear violation of the city's zoning bylaws, which are essential for promoting sustainable urban living and maintaining safe, functional neighborhoods. Permitting such non-compliance would set a harmful precedent, undermining community standards and the integrity of local zoning regulations. So further, it is clear that the intent of the neighbors at 40 Mimico Avenue is to include a large addition at the back of the property as the original hearing, including plans with a very large addition. I believe it was 21 feet in length at the time. They are seeking to remove these variances specifically to make it easier to obtain permits for this addition, which has been their original objection from the outset. Allowing these variances would facilitate the significant expansion, further disrupting the neighborhood's balance and negatively impacting the quality of life for residents. I had originally objected the variances as is their intent to still include addition. I had originally objected to the variances as is their intent to still include an addition in the back. Please refer to my original letter of objection outlining my concerns regarding my family's health, safety, privacy, and well-being. So in conclusion, I just urge the committee to reject the variances provided by 40 Mimico Avenue. And then also just to add, I just learned about the 5% variance as a definition for minor variances. And it looks like variances 1, 2, and 3 are beyond the 5% limitation. So I just wanted to add that on to my statement. Thank you.
Okay, the addition for this house is not before us. We don't know if they will or will not do that, so we can't address that. What we are addressing are the variances that are currently listed here. And so basically, if you could sum up your concerns, it has to do with the front yard parking pad, is that correct?
That's correct.
Do you have a front yard parking pad in on your property?
Yes, I do.
Do you know if yours is legal?
I believe it is, but I can't confirm.
So why do you believe it is?
Because it was like that when I bought it.
Right, okay. Okay. That doesn't make it legal. Any other questions?
I understand, which is why I can't prove whether it's illegal or not, but yeah, I believe it is.
Yeah, so how is yours different from theirs? Do you know what percentage front yard landscaping you have, soft versus hard?
I don't know what my percentage is, but I do know that my landscaping soft percentage is much larger than theirs.
It does look to be larger, yes. So is the vehicle, yeah. Okay. Does anyone else have any other questions? No. Are there any other speakers?
No, there is not.
Okay, can we have the Christine Brown back for a rebuttal?
Yep, I'm still here.
Okay, you've heard the other deputants, so this is your opportunity to make some comments if you wish.
I'm not sure what kind of comments I would make pertaining to the addition. That's right now that's off the table.
Yeah, we're not going to discuss hearsay or possibly what may or may not happen in the future. So it's really just a focus.
Sure.
Yeah. Thanks.
Sure. Other than that, the majority of the complaints this time seem to be about the parking, which is very consistent along the street. And as you guys noted, both neighbors have front yard parking that they utilize, nor do they know whether or not it's legal. So it is a little bit of the pot calling the kettle black. The homeowners did they did let me know that they would be open to changing some of their landscaping, whether it's putting in permeable pavers or something else to help the landscaping, but they don't intend to put parking in the rear. So they really want to keep that front yard parking if they can at all possible.
Okay, you've got some, looks like large patio stones for creating the walkway to the front door. So you're saying that
Yep.
they would be amiable to changing that to a permeable situation?
They are open to it. If that could possibly help the situation, it is an option.
Do you know if those pavers are defined as permeable, or I suspect not, but just in case?
No, I don't believe they are, and I'm pretty sure the homeowners know they aren't.
Okay. Well, you know, that's the question of installation. Okay, thank you. Any other questions from other panel members? No? Okay, we're going to take it into committee then. Thank you. So this is Mimico Avenue is a familiar street to us. We've seen a number of applications here. The character of the street changes quite dramatically once you go closer to Lakeshore. It really becomes a semi-commercial kind of street. And Laura, I think you've gone up and down the street and you've seen a few front yard parking. I mean, the other side of the street's quite different. It's
a different
yeah, it's the old
situation over there.
1940s bungalows
On the
and
other side, yeah.
and private driveways, a little more spread out. Any discussion, or is anyone ready for a motion?
Realizing, of course, that this motion could make this particular driveway legal, and the other two driveways would remain not legal.
Well, we don't know.
We don't know if they
We don't
are
know if
legal.
the other ones are legal or not. I mean, we know that no one has a front yard parking permit. And I'm not sure, and I don't want to get into,
I don't want to get into it either, but that's the reality. If
you know,
we
because
make a motion.
in a lot of areas, if you have a legal front yard parking, I guess if it's on the city boulevard portion, you have to get a permit from the city. I think we're done. Okay.
So it seems to me, I'm looking at a little chunk of streetscape here. 40, 38, 42. All built, I would say, in the 1920s, when cars were 5 feet wide. And driveways that were previously usable are no longer. And surprise, surprise, the current homeowners in all three cases need and have built or bought a house with front yard parking, because there's no parking on this side of the street. So I don't have a problem with the on-street parking aspect to this application, which seems to be the major point of contention. I find what's being asked here is quite reasonable and appropriate and reflects the history of the neighborhood. There's really nothing people that have cars can do other than what's being proposed here, what's already been built. So I find the request to be in keeping with the 4 tests under the Planning Act, and I move approval unconditionally.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Is there a seconder?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Mr. Dalton. All in favor? Okay, unanimous approval. Thank you to Christine and to the deputants.
Thank you. Have a good afternoon.
You too. Okay, item 29 is 107 Hadrien Drive. And this is an application to construct a new garden suite in the rear yard. There are 2 variances being requested. Forestry is requesting condition 2 in the event of approval, and planning has 2 conditions requested in the event of approval. And Sean Galbraith.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. Can we get your name and address just to confirm?
Sure. My name is Sean Galbraith, 18 King Street East, Suite 1400, Toronto.
Thank you. If we can get a presentation, please.
Sure. So what is proposed is to convert the existing permitted ancillary building that is under construction to a garden suite. The existing ancillary building is being constructed with benefit of building permits, which I have provided to the committee. And effectively, to add a kitchen, it converts it into a garden suite, and so that triggers the 2 variances under the garden suites portion of the bylaw: separation distance from the main fourplex and then side yard setback. This is effectively an identical or nearly identical application that I've brought to the committee twice before on 2 properties on Hatfield in this neighborhood, which were both approved. There was, I wanted to draw attention to the planning report. There are 2 conditions requested, and I just noticed today that they actually directly contradict each other. And so they, and I spoke with Berardo, the planner, today while I was waiting for my item to come up, and it's so I can explain. Condition 1 would need to be modified in order to satisfy condition 2, which we are in agreement with both of those as modified. So condition 2 is that we building in accordance with the site plan dated November 1st. That's fine. That site plan was modified in consultation with Berardo, the planner. But in condition 1, it has that the main entrance be on the north or front elevation. That should be the west or side elevation. The property is on a bit of a diagonal, and so yeah, we can't do both of those things. The entrance is on the side, and that's what is shown on the site plan dated November 1st, and that's what we agreed to with staff. And I spoke with Berardo today, and he's fine with the condition being modified to the west or side elevation, as shown on the plans. Perhaps it would, if you want, we can bring up the drawings.
Bring up the site plan.
Maybe
I mean, if I'm looking at the west side, that's a small grassed area. That's where you want the entrance?
Yes, correct. In the site, yeah. You can see if there's a walkway going along the side of the fourplex that leads to the west side entrance. This is, again, the same as what was done with the 2 Hatfield properties. It actually provides better fire and EMS access than it does on the north/front facade because of a window well that is there. Anyway, and this was in discussion and as requested by planning staff, the site plan.
Yeah, I'm confused. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll ask a question. You can keep thinking. Can you tell us what the one-story ancillary building's original intended purpose was?
It was. It has a storage and rec room space.
Okay, and you got a building permit for that. The issue here is that garden suites have different yard requirements, correct?
That is exactly correct. The building itself doesn't change.
Right.
Its position doesn't change. Its setbacks don't change.
Thought I knew the answer, but I needed you to give it. Thanks.
Yep, you're welcome. Any other questions? Sort of the gist of it.
So you're kind of breaking up on us.
Slightly pie-shaped, and so that's created. I'm sorry. Is this any better?
It is now, 'cause we're kind of hearing every other word.
Is this any better? Oh, okay. Make sure we're still good.
Yep, we're good.
Okay, so the property is slightly pie-shaped. Okay, good.
We're losing you again.
Pie-shaped. And let me try and switch my phones. Hold on a sec.
So, is the entrance here?
Yeah. It's labeled on the left side there. Building entry, I think it says.
So that's the entrance.
Building garden, where?
Is this any better?
Yes.
Switch microphones. Okay.
It's over here on mine.
Did you have a question, or can I point?
Ancillary? I don't have it on mine.
That's weird, eh? Oh,
Okay.
pull up this one.
I'm
Site
thinking,
plan
why can't I
revised-
see this?
Revised November 1st.
In the cover letter that I submitted, I've sort of highlighted the sort of the area of the variances that might be beneficial.
Okay, got it. Okay, thank you. No wonder I was, okay. I thought I was losing my mind. So how come you guys can see stuff I can't?
Yes, the originally submitted drawings had a different location for the entrance.
Yeah, and I
then
see
in discussions with planning, it was moved.
No, absolutely. This makes sense. I see the walkway now too, because you're referring to a walkway, which I didn't have on my drawing, so, okay.
You see that being very confusing.
Okay, we're good.
If you have any other questions, I'm happy to answer them.
No, that's fine. I believe there's a speaker in person.
Yes, that is correct.
Paul Bradley, come on up, sir.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Thank you.
Could we
Thank
just
you,
get your address as well?
Paul Bradley, 32 Edgemore Crescent in Etobicoke.
Okay.
And away I go.
Please.
Myself and most of the neighborhood is requesting that you deny the application for the variance because we feel that the encroachment on either side of the garden suite is too great. We feel it's not a minor variance. It's a major variance because it's not a matter of 1 or 2 inches. It's a matter of feet. It's basically 2 feet on either side. So that's a variation of 4 feet over the total. And we feel that this is just, it's too much. We've now got a 4-plex in the neighborhood. No, we actually have 3 or 4 of them now. And we feel that this is not in keeping with the history of the neighborhood. And we're open to change, but we feel this is massive and it's too much. And we're asking, I guess, on the size of the building and the fact that we feel it was actually built without the proper permits being in place before it was done, because it has to come to committee of adjustment and no decision was made. So that's me. I could go on, but I think that's the gist of it.
So, yeah, what they claim they originally were building was something different, and now
Correct.
they're essentially repurposing what was originally built.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know how else to describe it.
Yeah,
So
sure.
the application the purpose almost shouldn't be to construct because it already is constructed.
Right.
Change the use.
Yeah, there probably should be to change the use to
Right.
a garden suite. Okay, sorry, any questions for?
So what is your address again, 32 Osmond?
Esmond. E-S-M-O-N-D.
32.
So you're thinking this is kind of a backdoor way to get into having a?
Well, yeah, and I know that the neighbors, the one side backs onto a house that faces the other side, and they don't say much. The ladies on the other side, they don't want to say much. They kind of feel, I'm not going to say threatened, but they're not comfortable.
Okay. you're a couple of houses down.
I'm around the corner and down 3 houses,
Number 38 would be directly in.
directly behind. They signed our petition.
Yeah, 38 and 36 would both be.
And you have a letter of requesting denial from 34, completely independent of us.
Just trying to find that, actually.
I think we have over 100 signatures saying that this is not wanted.
Was that submitted?
That was submitted back
in December.
when we were supposed to meet originally.
Oh, in November. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we've got a few. Yeah, got it.
Yeah, I mean, and there's also issues. I mean, there's no sidewalk or anything like that right there. It's on a corner, on a curve in the road. We're anticipating more traffic. We're almost a kilometer from the closest transit.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
people are going to be driving. There's going to be extra cars.
Yeah, I don't think we can, it's not a question of whether we allow or not allow garden suites. They're permitted. But
Right, absolutely.
It's a question of if you're going to build a garden suite, apply for a garden suite. Don't build something else and then.
Well, I mean, if you know what your setbacks are, build within your setbacks.
Yeah.
If you don't, then it's on you.
Okay. Got it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we can get Sean back. Sorry, is there anyone else to speak to this?
No, there isn't.
Okay. Sean?
Hi there.
So you're being accused of a bit of a switch and bait. So anyway, if you want to comment on that.
I mean, I don't know what to say. You're allowed to change for a conversion of a permitted structure.
When was the structure originally built?
It's under construction now.
Oh, it's under construction now.
It's almost done construction.
Okay. So
yes,
this isn't before garden suites existed as a use.
No.
No. Okay. And is it the intention?
The concern from the.
Go ahead.
I apologize.
No, go ahead. You do your thing. I got questions after.
Sure. The concern from the neighbors seems to primarily be regarding sort of the changing nature of the neighborhood through the construction of multiplexes and garden suites. The reference to this is not in the historical character of the neighborhood seems to suggest that that's the case. But multiplexes are permitted, and they're encouraged by provincial policy and city policy, the official plan and the zoning bylaw. The question is, should a building that is otherwise entirely permitted by the zoning bylaw be allowed to be a living space? That's really what it comes down to. If the variances are refused, the building doesn't go away. It just simply, no one gets to live in it. That's effectively what the committee is being asked to consider. It's not a question of does the structure, will the structure continue to exist? It's just, will it be able to provide, much needed housing in an area well suited for it, encouraged by the official plan, the zoning bylaw, and provincial policy.
Are you done?
Yes, I'm happy to answer your questions.
I've got some questions then.
Yeah, please do.
Is the intent to have established this as a rental unit?
Yes, sir.
And
a long-term rental unit.
And are you telling me
as
that
a 2.5
when you applied for building permit, that was not the intent?
That is my understanding.
And that was last year?
Probably. I wasn't engaged in the project.
I mean, we can pull up the date of the building permit, but that doesn't really matter.
Yeah, you could.
I guess what I'm trying to get at is,
I'm not sure.
If the intent was all along to have a garden suite, then, apply for a garden suite and abide by the regulations for that. I mean, you're not. Did you file as an after the fact?
No, because it wasn't an existing structure under the building code because
Right.
it was
So
still
you
under
weren't, so
construction.
you weren't dinged for a double fee then?
Presumably not, no.
But right now, essentially, this is an after-the-fact application.
It's during the fact. I'm not really sure because it's not an after the fact because it's like there isn't a condition for this. It's the building permits haven't closed. It hasn't finished construction, so it's not technically after the fact according to the policies of
So in the original building
Committee of
permit,
Adjustment.
there was no plumbing?
Yeah, it shows the building permit, which I think has been provided to you, shows rec room and storage.
So no plumbing?
That's my understanding. I don't believe there's any plumbing.
Is there plumbing in there now?
I don't know.
Okay, that's convenient. Okay, I guess what I'm getting at is there's something doesn't ring.
Sorry to interrupt.
Truthfully.
I would presume not because there's no permit for it. There's no permit for plumbing currently, so I would presume that there isn't any plumbing.
Okay. Yeah, well, I know they're going to have to reapply for sure. But it's.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, I just wanted to establish what the rationale or thought process is here to determine whether someone's trying to pull a wool over kind of situation. I'll leave it open to panel members if there's any other questions. Okay. Let's take it into committee then.
Yeah, just a couple of preamble comments. We've established that garden suites are permitted everywhere in the city of Toronto, provided they meet the zoning requirements. We have a case here where a proposed garden suite does not meet two requirements. One, the distance between the main house and the garden suite being 1.4 meters away from the house, closer to the house than is permitted, I don't think has any concern or impact on anybody except perhaps whoever lives in the principal house and the garden suite. The other one is a reduction of the side yard by 0.6 meters. I don't believe that creates a deleterious impact on anybody. And I find this application to be in keeping with the 4 tests. And my motion would be to approve subject to the 2 community planning conditions and urban forestry condition 2.
What about the
Modification
modification to that condition?
to the planning memo. Change north front to west side.
Yeah, help me with that. Oh, January 4th?
Yeah, the January.
Yeah,
4th
I mean, we
planning.
can do the modification or we can send it back to planning with a deferral.
Okay, I need some help here. It was my intention to impose that January 4th memo conditions. Help me, what's wrong with that?
They don't reflect the site plan.
Oh, and then,
It's on the west now.
yes. Okay, then I'll revise my motion to everything I said, except I would request planning condition 2 and a modification to condition 1 that the main entrance be on the west elevation of the garden suite, not north. That's about all I feel like saying.
Okay, before we go any further, I'm just going to double check with the Secretary Treasurer. Do we have comfort in making that change without having a revised planning comments?
Where is that request coming from? Sorry. Because when I look at the plans, the front of the garden suite, so facing the back of the house, is north.
Yes. But on the revised site plan, the main entrance is on the west side.
Well, it does say revise the plans to reorient the main entrance on the north side. So maybe that means reorient it by showing the main entrance on the west side. Maybe it's okay.
On that site plan, where do you see the entrance? Because this is a very busy site plan. It's hard to. Yeah.
Way over on the left-hand side of the garden suite.
Yeah.
Well, they do make the data.
But you don't have elevations that match that, so I'm not sure how they can build in accordance with the plans.
That's why I'm saying we may want to send this one back.
Well,
because where are the elevations showing the entrance on the west side? But they don't show that on that. Correct.
Yeah.
I would say you would just leave the planning condition the way it is, and then they can sign off on how they wanted it.
Well, I take a lot of comfort in this reorient word in condition 1. It appears they know that it's being reoriented.
Shall revise the architectural
Because
plan.
it says the plans submitted on November 1st, which is what you have, to reorient. So they're not happy with the west entrance.
What they should have said is to reorient from the north to the west.
No. On this plan, it's shown on the west. I think they want it on the north.
You think they want it back on the north? Okay. So, you know what? At this point, I don't know who wants what, and no one's providing me with evidence of which way it should be, and so my inclination is to defer the application.
What about as an alternative? Can I just bounce something off everybody as an alternative? That we recommend approval subject to the approval of community planning, give them carte blanche on satisfying their concerns. Just subject to their approval, period. And they can say, here's what we meant, we didn't mean this, whatever. A little bit risky for the applicant, but probably preferable than a deferral.
I think just the conditions they have recommended are fine. Because the old site plan showed an entrance along the back wall. Which I can't tell. This plan is much too busy to be able to tell without the matching elevations. Like if I'm reading that, I would interpret it that they want it on the front of the building so that if you're walking into that site, you see the entrance. You don't have to walk around the building to find it.
Well, the pathway takes you to it.
Right. But they're asking for that to be changed, the way I read that up.
So
But it's
then,
saying the owner shall revise the architectural plans and elevations submitted on November 1st
Yeah.
to reorient the main entrance on the north front elevation of the garden suite. So they're aware of the November 1st plans, and I think they want a change to them. That's how I read it based on.
Yeah,
yeah, it should have said reorient the main entrance to the north elevation rather than on the north. I don't see what the problem is. The owner shall revise.
We've not approved previous applications because we didn't have a full set of drawings. We don't have a full set of drawings for what is being asked for here. Right? So in my view, I don't think we have the correct information. And we've also said you can't submit at the meeting, you have to do it beforehand. We do have a motion on the floor, but my inclination will be to vote against that if we're going to do approval, because I think we should be deferring this application.
So you don't like the fact that planning has asked as a condition for the owner to revise the plans and elevations as a condition?
No, because
you're saying that the revised plans should have been part of our package.
Yeah. Because what are we approving? We're approving drawings that have nothing to do with what we're approving.
The drawings have the entrance. The principal issue is the drawings show the entrance on the west side.
Correct.
Planning doesn't like that, wants the drawings changed.
Changed. And in order to change that entrance, you're going to have to change the entire interior layout of that.
Definitely.
Right?
Presumably.
So to me, that's an incomplete application. Yep. Look, we've had our discussion. Yeah. Do you want to withdraw your motion, or do you want it to go forward?
No, I'm going to withdraw my motion and invite my colleagues to come up with something that's more acceptable to the majority of the panel. And I fully understand and respect your take on this.
Thank you. Notwithstanding my initial confusion.
Yeah.
Because I was looking at those drawings, the original drawings.
I know you were. You're saying, where's the end?
Mr. Chair, I propose, on the basis of a lack of clarity and because there's more than one way to interpret the materials before us, that it be deferred until planning has a chance to opine or correct or adjust as necessary so that we have clarity as to what we would be approving.
May I suggest that the reason for the deferral would be for the applicant to submit the appropriate drawings to us that reflect what he's agreed with planning on.
As approved or vetted by planning?
Yeah.
Okay.
Requiring a new application, new notice, et cetera, et cetera. Correct?
Okay, so we have a motion to defer to obtain clarity from planning regarding their condition and to submit full revised plans and matching zoning review.
Yeah, the plans that reflect those conditions that were supposedly agreed to.
So if it's a deferral, it has to come back, correct?
Yep.
Here. And presumably, hopefully, we'll have revised plans to the satisfaction of planning and perhaps no conditions from planning.
Well, they may have similar conditions,
They may.
but they'll
Proposed
have to
development shall
submit
be
full
constructed as
revised
illustrated on the
materials
site
before
plan
we
dated
reschedule.
January 17th or something.
And this is a garden suite, and we need to make sure that it's done properly.
Yeah, and this is a garden suite on a fourplex, okay? This is why, it's not like someone's built a single-family home and, they wanted to do more space in the back, and now, we've changed our mind. I mean, I'm still a little bit dubious over the initial intent for the way this is brought to us.
So it's good that it's being deferred.
Absolutely.
So I can
Assuming that's going to happen.
So I can second that motion.
Thank you. All in favor of deferral? Okay, the item is deferred. Thank you to everyone. Okay, our next item, number 30, 10 Chelsea Drive. This is an application to construct a new detached dwelling with an attached garage and a garden suite in the rear yard. Originally deferred from November the 7th of last year. There are 12 variances being requested. Forestry was requesting denial, or in the alternative, condition 1. And Franco Romano is the agent. Mr. Romano.
Free, Mr. Chairman, members of the panel.
Welcome
Franco
back.
Romano, Action Planning Consultant with 321 Lakeshore. Thank you kindly. Appreciate that.
Surprised
Staff,
you're
can bring up
still
my
awake.
presentation slides, please. Perfect. Sir, I'm happy to proceed with that presentation.
Yeah, just perhaps a brief overview, because I do have questions.
Okay, very good. So and thanks staff for bringing up the air photograph. So what I'm showing on this air photograph is the subject site is at a corner, and Chelsea Drive swings around here. So it's both to the left and at the top of the road is the same street name. The front yard setbacks I've noted within the road allowance, and you'll see that they are varied. The proposal is to have a modest front yard setback variance of 9.12 meters instead of 9.69 meters. And that fits well within the ranges that are found on the street. So there's a good front wall alignment. The dwelling is going to overlap the existing dwelling, and it has an appropriate front setback condition in terms of the alignment. It has a front porch, and we'll see along Chelsea Drive up and down the street the same towards the left. We'll see that there's front yard attachments attached to the front wall of buildings that protrude into the front yard, and the proposal is going to have similar condition to that. What you also see on the air photo on the subject site towards the right is that there is a detached garage. So the garden suite is going to be in that location, but farther away from the side lot line, which is towards the bottom of the subject site, and the rear lot line, which is towards the right of the subject site. We'll see that there are accessory structures and buildings and parking areas on neighboring properties. Proposal is for a conventional 2 stories. The proposed GFA and the FSI variance is very much in keeping with what we see within Alderwood, where the site is located. If staff can go to slide number 2, on this slide you'll see that the garden suite at the top of the page has 1 meter side yard and rear yard setback instead of 1.5. So it is farther away from the rear lot line, a little closer to the south lot line, which is to the right, but it's a 1-story garden suite, so it's only 4 meters, and it's got sloping roofs, so it's very modest, and it's appropriately situated between the primary building and the rear yard. We'll see the north platform setback variance is for the front porch of that garden suite, and for the dwelling itself, part of the the proposal and what urban forestry has a concern with was the initial driveway actually went straight from the street to the garage on the dwelling, and it would have resulted in the removal of the city tree. But the proposal now is for a smaller driveway width. There's a curvature to the driveway. It's still a good alignment leading into the garage, but there is no city tree removal. It'll be an injury, and that driveway can also be reduced in width further if urban forestry so requires. If we go, I'm not sure if we can see the bottom part of this slide. I don't see it on my screen that's being shared. Yes, excellent, thank you. In the aqua color within the footprint of the dwelling, you'll see that is the setback variance, which is very minor. And the platform encroachment is for that front porch that says covered, proposed covered wood deck. And what is shown there in the orange overlay is a portion that is the encroachment component. So I would submit that the variances that are being sought provide for an appropriate form of redevelopment on the site and a appropriate small garden suite in the backyard. Subject to any questions you may have, Mr. Chairman, submit that the proposal satisfies all four tests.
Thank you, Mr. Romano. I just have one question. It really pertains to the variances being requested for the garden suite. Just given that this is a new build, I'm just wondering why we need the variances, like why you're not able to be compliant on a new build?
Well, one could be compliant. The 1.5 meters, the request for 0.5 meter setback towards the top and the right hand side of the.
Sorry, you're breaking up on us again. Is that a problem we're having?
Modest. Yeah,
sorry,
my
Franco,
okay.
We didn't hear most of what you just said.
Can you hear me now? My audio says it's working okay.
Yeah, okay. It was similar to the problem we just had earlier, so just wondering. Okay, go ahead.
So this property has a 10 point, bear with me 1 second here. It is a 12.5 meter lot width along the rear. And the one proposal for the side yard setback, if you see towards the top, which is if we go to the top of this slide, I'm seeing if staff can bring up the top of the slide so that we can see the garden suite portion.
Okay.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you. So that is next to an accessory building that's next door, the garage that is next door. So that's garage to garage, and to the right hand side or the south, that is to the backyard. So on this 12.5 meter wide lot, that's 0.5 meters or 50 centimeters is very, very modest. So it's just a modest request to allow for appropriate separation distance still between the main dwelling and to the street. So we have the additional setback to the street.
Okay, and is this a single family home that's being proposed, or is this a multiplex?
The dwelling is a single family home. The owners are currently occupying the dwelling right now, and they're looking to build new. So they're looking to stay on
thank
property.
you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? And we have no other speakers?
That is correct.
Okay, let's take it into committee. My only comment is it's a new build and we've got 12 variances, which seems a lot, but none of them seem excessive.
Also, just checking with the agent, you mentioned that the tree in question, urban forestry is so concerned about, that would not be affected?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair. Thank you for that question. Correct. The redesign of the driveway does not interfere with that tree. any longer, so the tree is being protected. All city and private trees are being protected.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
If there's no more questions, are there any comments or anyone ready for a motion?
So with that, I'd like to move a motion for approval, as I believe the application meets the 4 tests subject to the forestry condition.
Forestry condition 1. Okay, is there a
I'll second that.
Thanks.
Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Don. All in favor? Okay, it's unanimous approval.
Thank you kindly, appreciate it.
Thank
Enjoy
you.
your afternoon.
Okay, our next item, item 31, 16 Brentwood Crescent. This is, sorry, Burtonwood. Okay. I'm getting tired. To construct a new detached dwelling with an attached garage and a secondary suite. There are 3 variances being requested. There are no comments from any city departments. This was deferred from November of 2024. We have, is it Mr. Kumar as the agent?
Yes,
online?
available.
Hello?
Hello, yes, sir, I'm here.
Okay, can we get your name and address before you start?
Yeah, this is Rohit Kumar from RK Architects, 2565 Steeles Avenue East, Unit 14 in Brampton.
Okay, thank you. I
So I'm here.
don't think we need a full presentation, but if you can just give us some highlights and then we'll open up for questions.
Yeah, basically we are constructing a new house by demolishing the existing one, and we are just asking for just 3 variances. One is for the maximum lot coverage from 33% to 39.2%. Another one is for the FSI from 0.45 to 0.68, and the other one, the last one, is for the rear yard setback from 8 meters to 7.56 meters.
Okay.
And that's it.
Thank you. Any questions? Nope. Okay, let's take, there's no speakers?
No.
Okay, take it into committee. Anyone ready for a motion?
Yep. I'd like to move a motion for approval. This application is very straightforward as it meets the 4 tests, and there are no conditions.
Thank you. Seconder?
I'll second that motion.
Thanks, Laura. All in favor? Okay, unanimous approval. Thank you, Mr. Kumar.
Thank you, sir.
Are we going to take a brief break?
Yeah. Okay, so the last item for the afternoon session was 32, which has been deferred. So that brings us to the evening session. And I think we should take a break before we get started on that. How early can we start at 4:15? Or is it 4:10? Yeah. Okay, good, thank you. I have to, yeah.
So I'm just going to do a quick mic check for the 3 p.m. session. Roy, can you hear me? Roy Basso?
Hello, yes, can you hear me?
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Tatiana, can you hear me? Tatiana Quintana? Can you just respond so I just can make sure your mic is working? Tatiana? Okay, Tatiana, I can't hear you at the moment, so can you just please try to fix your mic? Just to make sure when your item is ready that you can speak. And so we're going to go ahead and get started.
Okay, welcome back for the 3 p.m. session, which is now the 4:10 session, which isn't bad. That's why I like calling these the evening sessions as opposed to the afternoon. But anyway, so good afternoon, not evening yet, to everyone. My name is Stan Kumarik. I'll be chairing the meeting today. My fellow panel members on my right is Bill Dalton. Also on my right, Donald Taylor. On my left, Laura Alderson. On my far left, Natalia Popovic. Sorry, I know a Nadia, so I keep doing that. And Barb Pertosik, our Deputy Secretary Manager. In accordance with Sections 45 and 53 of the Planning Act 1990 as amended, this meeting of the Committee of Adjustment of the City of Toronto is called to order. The Committee of Adjustment considers applications for variances from provisions of the zoning that apply to property, permission to extend or alter lawful non-conforming uses, and consents to sever property to create new lots. Our land acknowledgement, we acknowledge that the land we are meeting on is a traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. Our procedure for this afternoon, Committee of Adjustment public hearings are now conducted in a hybrid in-person and virtual format. Some applicants and participants will make their submissions in person, while others will participate virtually by electronic means through WebEx. The meetings are also streamed on the Toronto City Planning YouTube channel, and anyone wishing to view the hearing may watch on YouTube. Those who want to participate virtually and have registered in advance will be connecting with their computer, tablet, smartphone, or telephone and have the opportunity of participating via video or audio only. All virtual participants will automatically be muted on entry. When your item is called, you will be unmuted by the moderator, one person at a time. Those participating by video appearance will be temporarily upgraded to panelist when your item is being held. During this time, your camera will be enabled. You will only be visible during your 5-minute allotted speaking time. All other times, your video will be disabled and you will be reinstated as an attendee. Excuse me. For both in-person and virtual participants, Committee of Adjustment staff will share presentations submitted in accordance with a written submission deadline. Those participating through WebEx are not allowed to use share screen or any other panelist controls during a video appearance. Decisions of the committee. People attending in person today who want to receive a copy of the decision of the committee on an application must fill out a decision request card, and those participating virtually need to submit a written request for a decision by email. Please ensure that you include your name, address, and email address, as a Committee of Adjustment and the Toronto Local Appeal Body will be sending notifications and appeals updates by email. If you do not agree with the decision of the committee, you may be able to appeal the decision to the local appeal body, to the Toronto Local Appeal Body, or in some limited circumstances to the Ontario Land Tribunal. However, the provincial government has somewhat recently amended the Planning Act and generally removed rights of third-party appeals of Committee of Adjustment decisions. Only the applicant, the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, and specified persons in public bodies are now permitted to appeal decisions of the Committee of Adjustment. Appeal instructions are set out at the bottom of the decision of the committee. Our procedure, I will call out each item listed in the order of the agenda. When you make your submissions, where an application is uncontested, the agent or applicant may proceed with their presentation. When the committee does not require a presentation, applicants are to advise the chair if they wish to speak to the committee. The committee may ask questions and or take the matter into committee for decision. Each speaker, including the applicant agent, will be given a maximum of 5 minutes to address the committee. I will comment when you are reaching the 5-minute mark. Any presentation or other materials you wish to submit to the committee must have been emailed in advance of the hearing, as I mentioned earlier. Staff and committee members cannot accept new materials at the hearing today. When addressing the committee, please clearly state your name and address. Please remember to confine your remarks to the matters outlined in the application. The applicant or agent will proceed first and will make a presentation to the committee on the application. Please note that the committee may not entertain revisions to the proposals at the hearing today. The committee may decide to defer the application if it has been substantially revised to ensure that the revised application is accurate and that all those entitled to notice of the application are informed of those changes. Then individuals either in support or opposition to the application will be invited to speak. Generally, we will first call on speakers in the hearing room and then those participating online. Committee members may ask questions of each speaker after they have finished their presentation. When all speakers are finished, the applicant or agent has an opportunity to rebut, but only those issues that were raised by the previous speakers. This will mark the end of the discussion. The application will then be taken into committee for a decision. Okay, before we proceed, are there any declarations of interest of panel members or staff of the items on the afternoon agenda?
Yes.
Yes.
But it's been deferred, item 35.
Hasn't been deferred yet.
No,
but
35.
probably will be. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you.
They're looking for one, yeah, and it probably will. So then the next item will be deferral requests. And as Mr. Dalton had mentioned, item 35, the agent or the applicant has requested a deferral. I don't know. Barb, does he need to leave for deferral? Okay. Okay. So, Rowan,
Good
welcome.
afternoon, Mr. Chair
Good
and members of
afternoon.
the committee. My name is Rowan Barron. Address is 5255 Yonge Street, Suite 1101. We are requesting a deferral today. I do acknowledge that we have the support of city staff. However, just last week we received a comprehensive zoning review, which included some unexpected comments that may require additional variances. So we are requesting the deferral today so that we have time to have further discussions with the plans examiner to determine whether we need to make adjustments to our application, and as well to have further discussions following that with city planning to ensure we have their continued support.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other speakers online for this item?
No, there is not.
No, okay. Then let's take it into committee. Anyone ready for a motion?
I'll bring a motion, Mr. Chair, to defer on the basis of the submissions of the agent. It seems like an eminently reasonable way to proceed.
Thank you, Ms. Popovic. Seconder. Thank you, Ms. Alderson. All in favor? Okay, the item is deferred.
Thank you.
Yeah, someone grab Bill. So our first item that we'll be dealing with is item number 33, 100 Guided Court. And this is an application to construct a one-story front addition to the existing building. There is one variance being requested. Transportation is requesting two conditions in the event of approval. Roy Basso is the agent. Is Roy online?
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, welcome.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. So if you can give us just a brief overview of your application.
Sure. It's regarding a recently permitted building addition to Norbel Metals. The addition is essentially a single-story addition with two main loading doors on the east facade of the building. The building was the original site plan agreement for the building in 1995 included these future expansions as part of that agreement, which also included the loading doors that are, or sorry, the south loading door that's in question under this this particular variance. So essentially, the building expansion has a northern drive-in door and a south drive-in door. This is to facilitate the way that the movement of the steel enters and exits the facility. It's along the existing elevation today are identical loading doors. So due to those existing conditions, as well as what was included for in the original site plan application, we are seeking relief from this particular bylaw provision, which is the loading door on a main wall facing a street.
And you're okay with the transportation conditions?
I'm sorry, we didn't.
Sorry.
I don't recall receiving the.
Oh, okay.
Transportation.
Let's look them up. Can we pull up the they're up? Okay. So, yeah, I mean, it's kind of standard stuff. They're asking for a revision to the site plan.
Okay.
And they're asking that a flag person be available for maneuvers into and out of the designated loading spaces.
Okay. Okay, yeah, that's again, I've never seen these two requirements before, but I'm happy to review them with my client. I don't foresee them as major issues. This would just be something that an amendment to our current site plan agreement, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Do you want to come back to, like, do you want to check in and come back, or you're okay with these, or because we could deal with another item and then
Yeah,
come back to
no, I don't have any concerns with this particular comment. No.
Yeah, this was dated January the 7th, so I'm not sure why you didn't get it.
No, it's not. No, I don't foresee any issues with this comment. No.
Okay. All right, and I'm assuming there are no other speakers for this item.
That is correct.
Correct. Thank you. So, any questions? Take it into committee then.
No one has any questions or concerns?
No.
I'm happy to make a motion for approval for this application for one variance with transportation conditions.
Thank you, Ms. Alderson. Is there a seconder?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Mr. Dalton. All in favor? Okay, it's unanimous approval. Thank you, Roy.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're on to item 34, which is 23 Blue Springs Road. This is an application to construct a new detached dwelling with an attached garage. There are 9 variances being requested. Planning is requested a condition of approval. Transportation has 5 conditions of approval. Forestry is asking for condition 2 in the event of approval. And Tatiana is the agent.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair.
Hello?
Yes, good afternoon. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, but we're getting that problem again with the mic cutting in and out, so I'm not sure what's going on. It's got to be our end.
Yeah. Can you hear me better? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, panelists, and attendees. My name is Tatiana Quintana. My address is 15 Jayling Court, Goodbridge, Ontario, L4H1 Zebra 6, and acting as the agent of the homeowner of 23 Blue Springs Road.
Okay,
we propose to build a... Yes.
Go ahead. No, it's okay.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. We propose to build a new home as a single family home with 2 stories. We can take a look at the site plan. We have some variants, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you have.
I have
some of the variants.
I have a few.
Yes. Yes, you know, we have some of the variances, the easement. We have on the left north side, the property has like 3.37 meters of easement. That's why we're trying to have the variance in the right side, right south side. Yeah, but if you have more questions, just I'm here.
Yeah, if you're good, I have a few questions. Is the current dwelling a triplex?
Sorry?
The current dwelling that's going to be demolished, it looks like a 1960s
Yes,
style
yes.
triplex. Is it a triplex?
Yes. I don't know if it's a triplex, honestly. When I went to the site visit, just we checked the house and then I asked for the update survey, but I don't know if it's triplex. What I know is we're gonna build just a new single family home with the attached garage.
Yeah, I understand. That's why I was a little bit concerned if you're going to be removing a triplex and putting in a single family home. Just wanted to clarify that.
Okay.
Okay, the rear yard setback, I just wanted to clarify that as well. Can we get the site plan up? Oh,
Yes.
okay. Let me put the correct screen on my computer. Thanks. So the setback is from the rear yard to, because once you enlarge it, I can't read the numbers. So is it coming to what's labeled as new washroom and pool equipment?
Yes, yes. That means the house, now the existing house has a detached garage. That is, the proposed house that we are doing is farther to the rear than the existing new garage. Yes, the owner plans to do maybe someday a pool. That's why we have a new cabana, washroom, and pool equipment there.
That's why, because there's nothing here indicating a pool, but you've got pool equipment. So I just want to clarify that as well. So
yeah, we don't have application for the pool, but she plans to put a pool there.
So that's for future, okay?
Yes.
Those were my questions. Do any of the panel members have questions? No? Okay. Okay, then let's take it into committee. Oh, sorry, are there any other speakers on this?
No, there is not.
No, okay.
So with that, I'd like to make a motion for approval. I believe the application meets the 4 tests subject to the transportation, planning, and forestry conditions.
So planning, transportation, and forestry.
Correct.
I'll second that motion, Mr. Chair.
Okay, a motion has been put on the floor and seconded. All in favor? Okay, unanimous approval. Thank you, Tatiana.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening.
Thank you, Bill and Don. And item 35 has been deferred, so we are done.
You just need a motion to adjourn, which is my favorite motion of the
Please.
day. At 4:29.
Okay.
I move to adjourn this meeting.
Thank you.
4:29.
All righty. Thank you to staff. Other goodies.